the Firmware Update, our annual E3 coverage special here for episode 1.50. It's a nice round number to have it at. I dig that. I'm one of your hosts, Malcolm Spinelli, and joining me, as always, is Joe Garcia.
Hooray.
How you feeling, buddy?
I am very tired.
Yeah, I'm very tired, too. We are up at the crack of 8 a.m. for me and 9 a.m. for Joe, respectively.
That's not how the time zones works, Malcolm.
Oh, you're at 7 right now?
Yes.
Oh. Well, all right, Joe's at 7 a.m.
I don't live in the ocean.
That would hurt the show. But anyway, hey, folks, this is normally where me and Joe would chit-chat for a little bit and see how everyone's week is going. But a lot of stuff happened at E3 this year. I would dare say it was probably the most action-packed E3 of all time.
It's a well-rounded E3. I don't think there's a bad show in the bunch.
Yeah, on Nintendo, but we'll discuss that later.
Wow, okay.
Spoilers. Yeah. All right, so Joe, unprecedented. We're going to skip our usual segment and just go straight into news this week. So what are some of the big news this week?
Okay, sure. Let's see here. This isn't what we thought. This isn't what I thought we were going to do. All right,
what do you think we were going to do?
I thought we were jumping straight into the conferences, but I guess I'll just grab a random news item out of context here.
Hold on, then we can do that. This is live, folks. We are going right to it. So let's kick things off here with Bethesda, and correct me if I'm mistaken. This is their first conference.
Yeah.
So a lot of expectation. So talking about some of the stuff they were met right off the bat, they started things off with Doom, and no, not the tag team from WCW. I mean, of course, the you're in hell and you're shooting things, Doom, and we actually got to see some gameplay for it finally, Joe.
Not Doom, Dungeon of.
No, thank God. It looked nice. I liked it, though it looks a little repetitive. What did you think?
I mean, they seem to be aiming for classic Doom, not exactly Doom 3, which was a much more cinematic Doom than most. Doom 3 was it's actually a pretty scary game, very atmospheric, that type of thing. It was a great game, all in all, but it was good. It was a slight departure from the run and gun wacky style of the first two games on PC, and this new Doom seems to want to recapture kind of the arena multiplayer also aspects of Doom as well.
Yeah, I say it was repetitive because we saw the same death animation repeatedly. We saw for all intents, for what it looked like to me, I'm sure some Doom geniuses will be like, actually those were different guns, but it seemed like he was using 3 different shotguns over the course of it, and then a chainsaw. And also the enemies all look the same too, except with the exception of the ones that were flying around. So I was a little but aside from that, it looked cool. It looked like Doom in present day. They also talked about multiplayer arenas, as Joe was just talking about, including a level builder, which looks, for all intents and purposes, like the most simple level builder I've ever seen in my life. So that's great. And they also showed off footage of Hell, which I guess is a big deal. And for me, it looked like Eternia from He-Man, like they were attacking Skeletor's home base. But
man, what if you could?
Oh, that'd be great. But it was also very frantic, and I got to see more variations of enemies here. So I was like, all right, great. And so Doom is coming out. I believe they said 2016, or at least
they aimed for. They said the first half of 2016.
Yeah, here I got it, spring 2016. So all right, so looking forward to that.
Who knows if it actually makes that? Because I'm pretty sure this game has been in development for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Wolfenstein, the New Order, came with a beta code for early adopters of that game, and that game came out in October or September or something. So good for them to finally make good on that, I hope.
But they also came out and said, hey, you know how everyone loves Ubisoft's Uplay? Well, we're gonna do our own thing of it and just call it Bethesda Net, and everyone
Well, as long as you don't have to sign in to Bethesda Net or whatever, if it's just for if it's just a hub for them to put mods for their games in, that's
yeah. Let's see. They also announced a beta for Battlecry is coming up, as the sign up is up now, and the game that's going to be in 2015.
I played 10 minutes of that game at last year's show, and I thought it looked fine. That game was still in alpha, I think, when they were showing it last year.
Yeah, put that on the back of on the box. It's fine. It's a game.
It looks fine. You'll enjoy it for a set amount amount of time.
And Arcane Studios came up to announce officially Dishonored 2. Good.
Yeah.
Good for 'em. And in this one, you'll be able to play as the guy from the first game or Emily Coldwin, which is I guess a character was in the first one, but now she's fully an adult and she can do whatever she wants.
Okay.
And she can't.
Yeah, character agency, baby.
Yeah, she doesn't need pay for stuff. No. They also announced Dishonored Definitive Edition was going to come as well this fall for all the people who missed it on the previous consoles. And we go right into Elder Scrolls as they announce Elder Scrolls Legends, which is essentially them saying, Hearthstone made a lot of money. We're going to do the same thing. So yes, it's a card game based on the Elder Scrolls lore. And I give it another 5 years before all these major franchises have a card game. I mean, technically Witcher 3 already has a card game, and that's one pretty good.
That was kind of a surprise for everybody else. I was like, yeah, I'm buying Witcher 3 for this card game that's randomly in it.
Yeah, it was actually really good. Like, whenever I go to a shop, I'm like, oh, do they have any cards? All right, and then from here, we jump head first into Fallout 4 shit. Oh, my God. The Fallout 4 shit in this one. Right? And I mean that in a positive light here, folks.
I'm excited for Fallout 4.
I know you're looking forward to Fallout 4 here. And we find out some facts here really quick. I actually wrote these down. It's been in development since Fallout 3 in 2009.
Yeah, because Fallout 3 came out in 2008, I believe. They probably jumped right into development.
Yeah, and I remember when they were talking about Drive Club, how they were talking about there was such attention to detail that they threw away, they actually erased some of the cars because they didn't have the right screws in them. I don't know how the player would see them, but all right. But to give you, they have the same insane level of detail as they were talking about consoles, just like the flashing lights and whatever, and how each one of those was like a team of developers developing so that no two look the same. and the consoles are like the dumbest thing in the game. I mean, and it's so much detail. And I actually called this one a little bit. I said, as soon as I saw that trailer, I said that, I actually asked Joe, do you think this is going to take place before the bombs drop and sort of be an origin story? And he confirmed that. And we see some other stuff like the face customizer, which is pretty cool. You could just customize the heck out of the guy and the woman, and you get a kid that's basically the combination of the two people you create here. And it shows like the beginning of the game, including a special appearance by Roy Campbell of Metal Gear Solid as he voices a door-to-door salesman. That was fun. And essentially you see news of the bombs dropping, and they just skip like 200 years later, and I'm not kidding, it's 200 years later. And we get to see some of the gameplay, which includes Telltale-style decision-making. So, you'll hear something, and you get like 4 choices on how to react, and that like shapes your gameplay experience, which is fine. I don't mind them stealing that. And once again, so huge. The world is so huge, Joe, as you're exploring all of Boston. And it was just, it's once again, and it's just the teaser, and I'm already a little overwhelmed by how big this game is.
Yeah.
They also show off the new Pip-Boy in the game, too, which also has mini games, which are essentially Atari games.
Right.
And here's the piece there is a stones. I would say this is one of the best collector's edition thingies of all time, as he shows off an honest-to-God Pip-Boy.
People really wanted that thing for the collector's edition of Fallout 3. They announced it was like a lunchbox instead of with the bobblehead or whatever.
Yeah, I got that, actually. I still have the lunchbox in here.
Yeah, me too. But, people would rather have had that Pip-Boy then, and now they do.
Oh, yeah. Well, now they have the technology, which by technology, I mean it's a plastic case that holds your iPhone 6.
Yeah, it's basically a ridiculously oversized smartwatch.
Yep, but it looks cool, and it looks just like the Pip-Boy in the game. So
it'll be great for cosplay.
Yeah, is he, as the guy talking about it called it, the best fucking piece of collector's edition ever, so good for him. This app will be on iOS and Android when the game is released. Speaking of iOS and Android, they announced a new game called Fallout Shelter, in which you make your own vault. All the characters have stats, items, and can leave and find stuff in the wasteland. It's free, and it's out right now.
And okay, that game is perfectly fine. I've been playing it all week on the way way to and from work. It's a fine little game.
Nice. I downloaded on my iPad just last night, but I haven't had a chance to play. So, and back to Fallout 4, they also talk a little bit about how crafting is a thing now. So you know how you would go out in the world and you would collect spoons and tea kettles and what have you, and have no real use for them.
No.
Well, now you have a use for everything in the world, as you can break it down and to use for whatever you want. Like let's see, if you need a lens, you can find a microscope and just salvage a lens out of it. Or if you collect a lunchbox, you can salvage metal out of it, and so forth, which is really cool because now you've sort of made a purpose for all those people who would collect everything. And it opens up ways to level up your weapons and your armor. And my God, there's like an insane amount of weapon mods and what have you, and upgrades that you can get in this game.
Yeah.
Like to a point where weapons become completely different stuff. So yeah, the Fallout 4, it looks good. I think it has a chance, buddy.
It's gonna be a good game.
Indeed, it's gonna. At this, now keep in mind this was only the start, and right off the bat, I'm thinking that Fallout 4 has Game of the Year locked. But you know what? After E3, I would say it's not so much of a definite. But Fallout 4 looks good.
Yeah.
So Bethesda started things off swinging.
Oh, and they also announced that the game's coming November 10th.
Oh yeah, no, November 10th. Yes.
So it is coming this year.
Day before my anniversary, so yeah. All right, so from here we skip right to EA, and this is where we'll enter our bullet point format here. Some of these may or may not be in chronological order, so forgive me.
Oh.
So the fourth installment of Mass Effect was finally announced.
It was annoying for me personally because they opened their thing with that, and I couldn't get Twitch to work, so I missed the entire trailer and had to look for it later.
Oh.
The only part of the show I missed was the entire Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, but thankfully we didn't see too much about it other than this, but it's called Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out holiday 2016 on PC and next-gen consoles. So fuck you, PS3 and Xbox 360 owners. So what'd you think, buddy?
That sounds like a neat idea. They're kind of going in a direction I didn't really consider. Like everyone was trying to figure out how they could fit a new story within the established universe, within the Milky Way galaxy that we've been exploring all these years. But they're like, fuck it, we're moving to Andromeda, a whole different galaxy. I was like, what? So that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if we don't know if it's like before the events of the regular Mass Effect trilogy or after, or if it'll be the new set of alien races over there, or for some reason they moved over there to Andromeda. I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited to find out.
Me too. Should be good. And then from there, we got a new Need for Speed was revealed, and if this is the one that I'm remembering, it looked good. My God.
Yeah, Need for Speed, like that's all it's called. Somehow you can reboot a racing franchise. Somehow I'm not sure how you can reboot a racing franchise, but they're just calling it Need for Speed. And it seems to be pretty heavy on story on top of all that stuff, on top of all the regular racing stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be filled with FMVs and whatnot. So for fans of Need for Speed The Run or Need for Speed Pro Street, right up your alley.
See, and they talked about a lot of mobile games, including a new Minions game.
Oh, we can just skip right past that.
Alrighty. They announced an expansion for Star Wars: The Old Republic, this one focusing on, I guess there's a part in The Old Republic where you're frozen in carbonite, and you wake up like centuries or a long time later, and the world has just gone to shit, and you're trying to, find all your friends and fix things. And this expansion is that part that you're in carbonite, explaining what happened.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, I hear that game is doing fairly well with its free-to-play model, so more power to them to expand on that, I guess.
Yeah, so unfortunately I don't have a computer, but it sounds like a fun idea.
You have a computer. How are you communicating to me right now?
Well, this is a Mac. I mean, I don't have nice skills.
That's a computer.
It's a computer. It's not powerful enough for a computer, unfortunately. And hey, Joe, you like card games?
I dabble in card games.
The kids love the card games, Joe. And that's why they're getting a Star Wars card game on their mobile devices.
Okay.
Don't know if it's going to be quite like Supercard or quite like Hearthstone, but we're going to find out.
Like, I know they sell, weirdly enough, Topps trading cards or whatever. Like, they have a Star Wars set that they sell exclusively on mobile, so you can just buy card packs, that aren't, like, not necessarily for trading, like, not even necessarily a trading card game, it's just trading cards on your phone, which is, I think it's this seems different.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like I said, 5 years, all the major video game franchises franchises are going to have a hard card game because, hey, that sells. Why not?
Yeah, and it turns out people like the Star Wars right now. Like, Disney's got that Star Wars machine churning like no other time before.
Yeah, I don't know why, but this year in particular, there seems to be a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Weird.
I know, right? Speaking of Star Wars stuff, I did like that they teased ending it on the card game, but no.
Yeah.
There's one more thing, and that's Star Wars Battlefront. And I gotta admit something to you, Joe. Friends of the show, Lee, who now works at Bank of America, he asked me before he left if I would get, like, I don't know anyone else is getting this game. I need backup for the game, so can I count on you? And I'm like, you know what, Lee, for you, absolutely. And this was done primarily as a favor to Lee because he's so cool. However, then I saw this.
It's a good trailer.
It's a very good trailer, and you know what's even more impressive? Like, if there was one fight that you could pick from the Star Wars universe that has just been absolutely done to death, what do you think it would be?
It would be Luke and Vader.
Well, no, I mean like
Hoth. Oh, you mean Hoth?
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's gonna take place in Hoth. I'm like, really, Hoth?
Well, it's one of the battles. Like, but it was also one of the
Unless I can slice open a tauntaun, crawl in, and regain my health, I thought there was like no way this game was gonna impress me. But holy shit, it was just crazy. There was TIE fighters and X-wings fighting in the air. There was walkers and freaking ATTs. He's fighting all over the place. There was like all the soldiers looked just like how they did it in the movies.
Yeah.
In fact, it was almost like I was watching one of the movies and seeing this whole unfold.
Yeah.
And just their animations when they were shot were pretty fun too.
Man, like, I've made no secret in the past that I have pretty much zero reverence for Star Wars and the Star Wars universe at all. But even I was like, towards the end of that trailer where all of a sudden Darth Vader fucking appears on the battlefield. I was like, oh god! I thought that was pretty fucking awesome.
It was that whole like you focused in on the one guy and it was for the rebellion, and then he just flies into the air holding his neck and just like dies, and you turn around and it's not like Darth Vader is like far off. Darth Vader's right fucking there.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, everyone's fucked. And then after that, they show some gameplay of someone playing as Luke, and I was like, oh god, this is the best.
And it ends right with Luke charging in and like slashing at Vader, and like, oh, okay, that's how you end it. Nice.
Man, that is impressive. I really want to play that game.
Me too. I think it's got my pre-order. You know what? I think I'm gonna be into that one.
How does ammo work in the Star Wars universe anyway? Like with blasters and stuff, Malcolm? Tell me.
I think
is it just a cooldown or what?
I don't think like running out of bullets is a problem unless
right.
It's like the smart ones. But in the Star Wars universe, everything just uses lasers, and they just use like crystals and what have you, the same way that they use the lightsabers. So it's like pretty much unlimited.
Okay.
All right. Now we move on to Ubisoft, which for some reason the guy who wrote up this bullet point here for me, he missed a pretty key one. So I'll start things off. South Park, the fractured butthole, which fuck those guys for having to make me say that.
Oh man, that's good.
It was a great trailer and a great surprise as well, because Matt Stone and Trey Parker and even Aisha, is that how I pronounce it? Alicia or Alicia? Aisha Tyler pointed out, said, "You said you were never making a game anymore, dude. What is this?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Yeah, we did say that, but you know what? We figured out how to. We said that at the end, and at the end, we figured out this whole video game thing. So."
Yeah, because development of the first one went so smoothly. They're like, fuck it, let's do it again. Ubisoft's gonna shut down in the middle of development this time, and they're gonna have to be bought out by like fucking THQ's resurrected corpse, which it'd be very fair.
But it's much like the first game, with the exception of now you're superheroes, which means that Cartman is the coon, and everyone else is in their superhero garb here. What's that?
I said,
racism for everybody, but yes. And it looks like Professor Chaos is the main bad guy this time, so we'll see, which is great because I love Butters. So. All right, and some other games announced. We have a new IP, Joe, called For Honor, which takes 2 teams of 8 players along with some AI team soldiers. So it's kind of a MOBA, with the exception that it's focused on swordplay combat, and it really did look like swordplay combat, in which you can be a knight, you can be there are 3 teams teams, at least as of right now. There are Knights, Vikings, and Samurai.
Yeah.
And it actually looks really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And so that's coming out soon.
It was funny because they claimed to, like, it's a brand new IP and a brand new genre. I was like, it's not, like, it's basically a MOBA. Let's not pretend you're making a completely new genre.
Yeah, I'm guessing they think the sword play is a new genre, but yeah, it's a MOBA.
It's like, let's all just take it down a notch. One notch.
I know MOBAs aren't that old, but come on. We then head into Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max DLC, which we saw nothing of, with the exception of a house cat with a gun riding
A golden gun,
excuse me, riding on top of a unicorn with flames coming out of his mouth. So you know what? It doesn't get more epic than that.
I don't know if that's included in the season pass, because the season pass promised 6 DLCs before a certain date, and those 6 DLCs are out now. So I don't know if that's included, or if they'll charge you an extra $10. But
yeah, Awesome Level Max will be out on July 14th on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And the season pass for Trials Fusion will unlock Awesome Level Max. So there you go.
All right.
And then we have The Crew Wild Run, which hopes to release on October 17th.
They said that was an expansion?
Awesome Level Max?
No, this Crew thing.
I think so.
Yeah, because I can't imagine like Ubisoft looking at the launch of that game last year and saying, "Yeah, it's time to annualize this fucking thing."
Oh, man. So we then go to The Division, which is creeping up on where I've seen it so many times that it's starting to piss me off.
Okay.
But it continues to look good, which features how dark of a game it can be, as it features a team of players going into what's called the Dark Zone, which is full of plague-ridden people and what have you, showing off, like, you know, what it can be like, what gameplay can be like, as at first they're sneaking up on this group of AI enemies, and all of a sudden this other group of players, like, sneaks up behind them, and there's a bit of a standoff, like they don't know what's going on. And then finally the other team decides to attack the other group of enemies, and they take them all down. So at first a truce is announced to like find the loot, and over the course of the game the other friends they get to the end, and then they decide, you know what, I don't want to split it with these other guys who helped us. Let's be complete assholes.
Great, yay.
Yeah, that makes me proud to be a multiplayer.
Yeah, that's really exciting, right? Like, all right, griefing.
Oh, great. I'm not going to throw my controller at all of this. So they attack and kill the other team of players, and then they're about to log off when, double twist, Joe, one of the other players leaves the chat room and then kills the other two, takes all their loot, and then just runs off since he can't use the helicopter to escape, which would mean he's dead, the way you've been building up this Dark Zone.
Yeah, he's probably dead, and nobody gets anything. Great, cool.
I was like, that was a really depressing fucking...
God, man. Aside from the possibility of griefing one another, it seemed pretty solid. And despite, the super canned freaking co-op chat, that the way that nobody talks when they play online. It's like normally people just talk about their day at work or whatever. Like no one actually talks about the game they're playing.
There needs to be a trailer where they show like real life one where there's a kid crying in the background. It's like, oh my God, Tommy, put the kid away from the mic.
The doorbell rings because somebody forgot that they ordered a pizza 20 minutes ago. Oh God, hold on, guys. I gotta go answer the door.
It's like, Steve, we lost Steve. Steve is just standing there in the middle of a gunfight.
He dies, and he's the one holding all the loot.
You know what's the best thing, Joe? I wouldn't leave that trailer depressed like I was with this one. Where I lost like all faith in humanity right there. But The Division hopes to release around March 8th of 2016 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Right.
And then they had Just Dance, because always, Joe, you always just dance.
God, those copies of those games haunt me up. Like we could use that shelf space for so many others, and it's always just robbing shelves from so many better.
Just Dance 2016, seen with Kinect and other camera devices for the one in your pocket. Smartphones, you can use other camera devices like in your smartphone, which is cool.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so it's like, let's just give the middle finger completely to Kinect, I guess, but all right. So, yeah, that's all. That's going to be, though, on the new-gen consoles. Otherwise, Wii, 360, and PS3 will require the standby set. All right, and that's Ubisoft, unless you can remember something I missed, Joe?
I mean, they showed off some more Assassin's Creed, but nothing really,
Yeah.
nothing new really out of that.
It's amazing you just sort of like, woo.
I mean, not just that. It's just that. I mean, they just didn't really announce anything new for that game. I don't think so. They're like, hey, it's E3, so here's an expanded gameplay trailer or whatever, or you to get excited about, and then hate in 4 months.
Yeah, they just showed, the guy who looks like Logan, for Christ's sakes, beating up some guys and then recruiting more people for his gang. So
yeah, and I think they closed with the Assassin's Creed though.
yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
All right, and there was one final one for Square Enix that happened at the very end. The thing is, Joe, there was some key announcements for E3 that Square Enix made, except they were in previous all the other conferences. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider, that was in the this is spoilers here, folks.
Yeah,
Rise of the Tomb Raider, that was at Microsoft. A really, really huge one that we'll talk about was announced at Sony, as well as Hitman was also announced at Sony.
A Dirge of Cerberus sequel.
Oh, I wouldn't mind a Dirge of Cerberus. I was one of two people who actually...
You would be the guy.
No. Oh, true story. My wife bought that game without realizing what it was, and as soon as she found out it was a third-person shooter, she went back to GameStop and returned it.
Nice.
She was like, no, because that's not Final Fantasy VII. It's not a third-person shooter. But anyway, long story short...
I will not be party.
So there's very few bullet points that we really, really need to go over. But for instance, PlayStation 2 has another exclusive from Square Enix called Nier 2, which is a sequel from, of course, of Nier.
Well, they just called it Nier, title unannounced or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they refused to even reveal the subtitle. So even that's a secret or whatever.
But regardless, it's Nier 2.
Isn't Platinum Games working on that one? Did I miss-see that? Like they announced that they were working on something at the Square Enix thing.
What did they announce? It's Platinum. It wasn't this.
Was it?
No, it wasn't Platinum Games. God, I wish I could remember what it was.
Platinum's got a lot on their plate though, either way, because they've got Scalebound or whatever. They've got a Transformers game randomly enough.
That's what they were working on. Okay.
No, but I thought I saw their name during the Square Enix thing too. Unless I was just really tired. No, yeah, they are working on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right on.
Weird.
Right.
Weird.
Let's see. Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness is also coming out. But the big one that everyone was left this talking about was, of course, the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, which features, and I'm going to speak Japanese to you for a sec, Joe, but a young Xehanort and Master Aquarius playing chess. Those are characters from Birth by Sleep, except you saw them much, much older.
Okay. I mean, I've played like half an hour of the original Kingdom.
Joe.
Like I had no idea who these people were, but I mean the footage was impressive. I'll give them that.
Oh yeah, the footage was very impressive. It
meant nothing to me, but it was very impressive.
It cuts right into Sora doing shit, as that's what most of this trailer was.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look, just show us the game already.
Yeah, and they did. It showed him in combat, which looks very fluent. He has new ways of traversing the landscape. There was also one scene where Sora jumps off a cliff. Don't worry, folks, it's not that dark. But he jumps off a cliff, and you sort of get
it cuts to black.
And you get a real scale on how much bigger this game is because of the PS4 as he just descends, and you can tell he's going to land and he's going to be able to move around everywhere there. So it might be one of these cases where if you can see it, you can go to it, which would be pretty interesting for a Kingdom Hearts game. It also showed off several new attacks. It's
just like The Witcher.
Yeah. It's exactly like The Witcher.
You can just have sex with all the Disney characters.
Oh, well... Well, there is a market for that, Joe. But anyway.
It definitely is. A very, very disturbing market.
And Sora is getting older. He's getting to that age. But anyway.
God. All right, let's please move on.
So your Keyblade can turn into other weapons, including twin dual guns, which you use to take out several Heartless, big RPG rocket launcher, for lack of a better term. And he's got a ton of new new moves that actually make using a Keyblade seem kind of cool. And of course, the big piece de la resistance was you could summon all these Disney rides to do combat. Like you can summon the teacups, you can summon the Jolly Roger, which all move like it does like in the actual ride, and they all got the lights like they show off after hours.
Can you summon the Haunted Man?
Who knows? Maybe.
Can you summon the original Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Yeah, that was the Jolly Roger right there.
Oh, okay.
And on top of that, he also summons Pegasus, which just rains down lightning all over the place. And it looks really good. It's just a shame it's not coming out anytime. It's
obviously not.
And
because why would it?
And when we get to the Sony conference, we'll talk a good deal about what we think is coming out first and what we're going to have to wait a while for. But that does...
Oh, man. And let me tell you, that conference not changed my feeling on things coming out anytime soon.
Oh. Well, we will see, Joe. We'll see.
Very exciting, but...
Alrighty. Well, with that does it for all the preliminary conferences.
Oh, hold on. Out of the Square Enix thing, I was also pretty excited for that Lara Croft mobile game, Lara Croft Go or whatever. That Hitman Go game was excellent. I was excited to see that.
Okay, I was confused. Is it a crossover with Hitman and Tomb Raider?
No. I think they're just making a Hitman Go style game starring Lara Croft.
Okay.
Did you play Hitman Go?
No, I did not.
It's really good. Like, it's basically just, like, they just kind of compact the world of Hitman into, like, a diorama, like a board game type thing, and you just kind of move the little Hitman around. It's really, it sounds real dumb, but it's really fun.
They moved the little Hitman.
You moved the little Hitman around. Like, everyone's got little patrol routes. You gotta make sure you either avoid them or hit them from the side, because if they see you, you're dead. Very cool. You should check it out. Really good.
All right. So, unless you got anything else that I missed, Joe?
No, because I watched the Square Enix thing after I got off of work on Tuesday, and I ended up falling asleep. I was like,
Yeah.
And by the time I woke up, everyone's on stage saying, "Hey, have a happy E3." I was like, I fell asleep right after the Kingdom Hearts trailer, and I woke up and it was over. I was like, I don't care to go back to what I missed. So
it's like it's a shame because I think on the second day, especially, like I'll include Bethesda actually too, but each conference was like punch after punch after punch, like all these powerhouses that just got better and better and better. To a point when I went to go see the Sony conference, I was really nervous. I was like, okay, they stacked the bar really high. I don't know what Square could do to possibly increase the bar, but they did that, and you were pumped. They're like, all right, I can't wait to see Nintendo and Square. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew you were going to defend him, but I will give you this. Yeah, Square. The thing is, like, you went to Square wanting to find out about these other games they announced, and they didn't want to talk about them. So that really the only thing you fell asleep at the right time. Like after Kingdom Hearts, other than Kingdom Hearts, there was nothing really that was necessary in that one. All right, Joe. So it's time for our triple main event here, starting with perennial contender Microsoft.
Okay.
Alrighty. So we jump right into Microsoft E3 2015. We get a Microsoft Rises intro. I say Rises because they use the Batman Rises theme in the background. And here's the thing that concerns me, and that this is key all throughout the night. They show Lara Croft in there.
Yeah.
Which, okay, is she a timed exclusive or not? Because
I don't know. I still haven't got any clarification on that.
Because, they're showing her along with Master Chief, with the dude from Gears of War. They're like as if she is an actual character, and there are times they still say exclusively on Xbox.
Yeah, like they led, like there were little lead-ins for each of their games or whatever. Like when they showed Gears of War, it was like Xbox One exclusive, and they had the same thing for when they showed Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I don't know. That game's gonna be multi-platform eventually, but it just kind of solidified my stance that it will be at least a year.
I just wish they would just come out and say it, because that would greatly affect me deciding to start saving for a Xbox One. But
yeah, that seems like a summer 2017 thing.
Yeah, I would say, right off the bat, okay, spoiler, this was a good conference. This was like the one thing that I was pissed off about.
Well, I mean, it was good for Microsoft. That you're pissed at it is kind of your own problem.
Right. Well, it's great. It's great Well, that's the thing. It just feels dishonest. And there is actually one more thing on here that I didn't like. Stay tuned for that. But anyway, from here we go to 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross to do the intro, which begged the question for me, where's Phil Spencer? Don't worry, he's coming, folks. He's coming. And she intros Halo 5, which she says so many different ways that it's epic. But she uses the word epic. You know, epic soundtrack to go with this epic gameplay of this epic visuals of this epic character. Okay, stop it.
But yeah, looking at that gameplay, Halo 5 looks like a Halo-ass Halo game.
Oh, it's the most Halo game of them all right there. So some notes on that trailer. Number one, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, finally, we just hear him in space.
It's Nathan Fillion as Nathan Fillion in Halo 5 Guardians. It's coming this holiday still, so that's good.
Finally get to see Castle in space, man.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be exactly that, Castle in space. And you get to get some gameplay of this other dude who is hunting down Master Chief. So basically, this is a video game version of The Fugitive, is what I've gathered. It's like where him and his squad are just hunting him down for a crime he didn't commit. And we get to see some squad gameplay as you see the dude just like tell the other squad what to do as they go hunting down, trying to find Master Chief. It'll actually look pretty good.
Yeah, visually, the game looks amazing. But like I said, that's a Halo-ass Halo game. It's like, yeah, I think I already know what to expect gameplay-wise from this.
Yeah, it's like, what else is there? I mean, so
like this is the fifth one, and there were a couple spin-offs in between. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Graham, as you said, I have here the game looks great, which is going to be a theme this night.
Yeah, like the particle effects or whatever when he dissolves dudes. I was like, holy shit, that looks really fucking impressive.
Yeah, and I even the biggest compliment I gave it looks like the single player we wanted from Destiny.
Yeah.
All right, so that game is coming out. We got a release date, October 27th, 2015.
I thought we had that release date already.
No, well, I didn't know. But anyway, there it is for those who don't know. Then Josh Holmes comes out, who is executive producer for 343 Industries, and he said, hey, I don't know if you guys knew this, but this game's going to have a multiplayer too. And we got and we got this new one called Warzone, which he doesn't explain. He just shows on a trailer, which leaves me more confused. So from what I gather, it's P versus E. So like it's still player versus player, but there are enemies in there to be jerks. So
okay,
yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Just random AI bots?
No, just like full scale enemies on there. So
okay,
get ready to have fun with that.
All right.
Hey, Xbox One exclusive world premiere from KJ Inafune, famous Mega Man director. And it's called Recore. And from the teaser trailer that we saw here, you're basically with a robotic companion who has like a digital soul.
Yeah.
And while fighting off enemies, the robotic companion sacrifices themselves, and then you grab the soul and throw it into a body of a nearby robot nearby, and
it's much larger.
Much larger and much more helpful.
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder why you didn't just grab him in the first place.
Indeed.
Why go with the puny dog if you could just put it in a giant machine?
Indeed, and it looks like you can do that for like a small army of themselves, and you use those to solve puzzles and what have you, as well as fights. So Recore is coming out spring 2016. Looks good.
Looks real good.
Anyway, Phil Spencer comes out as apparently he is the only one to give out good news. I mean, like somebody brought up a point that, you know, like Nintendo and Sony each have these guys that the community has really embraced and accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, with Nintendo, they have Miyamoto, they have Reggie, I guess, and they have,
I guess, yeah,
and they
have Iwata.
They have Iwata, yeah. Sony, they have Shuhei, they have Adam Boyes, and for a while they had Jack Tretton.
I miss old Jackie.
I miss Jack Tretton too. I still remember him saying that the PS4 was going to be $100 less.
Yeah, like Sean Layton's cool, but I know Jackie boy.
Oh yeah, Sean Layton. I felt so bad for him. You could tell he's still getting used to talking in large groups.
He really.
And Microsoft, they're starting to catch fire with Phil Spencer, but so far he's the only guy.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, this really did wonders to get him over. As he comes out, like I said, he's the one who gives good news. Only him. As he announces that the Xbox is listening to their fans, and by giving them their biggest request. And that biggest request, Joe, is backwards compatibility.
That's pretty good news.
Yeah, right at this point, I was like, okay, well, Microsoft won this year. Damn.
It makes you wonder if you can play like DLC for those games that are supported or whatever. Because like I let my friend borrow my Xbox 360 like 2 years ago. I haven't gotten it back. And I've been wanting to play, like I bought the season pass for freaking BioShock Infinite when it came out, and I never played any of the DLC because he had already commandeered my Xbox.
Oh.
So I wonder if I can play that DLC.
And I write down on it here, game changer. This definitely puts a major feather in the cap of Microsoft. And I also write down, a shame for people who traded in their Xbox 360 and their entire collection to get the Xbox One.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, if you're willing to trade that stuff in, was it really that dear to you?
Yeah, it wasn't. It's going to be available this fall. And some things that I feel we should point out here before we just go banging on the drum about how amazing this is. Okay, this is the more explicit detail, which they did not really go into at the time. If you bought the game digitally on 360, then it'll be there in the store for you.
Yeah, it just shows up in your queue, in your download queue or whatever.
If you have it on disc, just put the disc in the Xbox One, and you'll get the option to download it.
Right.
However, you still need the disc to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of to keep people from just going to GameStop and buying a used copy and then returning it immediately after they get the download or whatever.
Oh, I was thinking about just getting a subscription to GameFly and just getting all these 360 games.
Oh, either way, whichever is most convenient. Either way, you want to make sure people own the games that they actually want to play. That makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, to me that makes perfect sense. So people were, I was doing the podcast with Fro on Let's Talk then, and they were like, "Why would you still need the disc?" And I pointed that out. It's like I was going to go to GameFly and just like get my library on, man.
What the hell? Wait, I had something here today, but never mind.
We should point out also that they're not like opening the keys to the kingdom with the 360 games. That when it kicks in, it'll be as much as like 100 games. And much like how what games work on SharePlay with the Sony platforms, it is up to developers if that game is going to be cool for backwards compatibility.
Right, and that seems fair as well. Like it seems like very little work on the developer's part because a lot of those games just exist on the Xbox Marketplace anyway. So if they just want to activate that, like that seems pretty simple on their part.
Yeah, I think they should be a little bit more forthcoming about that because I could see someone get it thinking they're getting backwards compatibility and then they try their games and like some of them don't work. I think that'll lead to a lot of messes. But they did assure us that hundreds more will be added on over time.
Yeah, in the coming months. So that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I was also let's see some other stuff I wrote down here. It can use all the features of the Xbox One, including taking snapshots, videos, and what have you. Another thing I wrote down: how great a news is this for GameStop right here? It's like suckers, buy your games back, you sons of bitches. And I also write down here a nice little middle finger that Phil Spencer gives here at the end at Sony with PlayStation Now, where he says,
"Yeah,"
and I quote, "At Xbox, we're not going to charge you to play a game you already own."
Right.
Shots fired, but what? Hell of a move there.
Like that. And what's even more fucked up is that shouldn't be a shot that is fired because it's like, why would you pay again for a game that you already own?
Yeah. And I also wrote down on here, PlayStation will have this by next year, or at least they better.
And let me expand on that a little bit here.
Yeah,
I looked it up, and they're like, yeah, no. That's basically just a bit, Shuhei, they asked him, like, hey, and he, for all intents and purposes, like, he was impressed. He was impressed by the backwards compatibility. He's like, yeah, he admitted as much. He's like, yeah, that's a really nice feather in their cap. But he's like, the news is interesting, but he's like, no.
Well, because here's the thing. By them saying, yeah, we're going to do backwards compatibility, they may as well say, do us a favor and just cancel your PlayStation Now subscription.
Basically. Yeah, like he said that. Here's what he said. He's like, PlayStation Now works surprisingly well, which I don't know why he threw the word surprisingly.
Yeah, why would you say that?
Just say it works well, you Shuhei. And then he said, but the primary purpose of that project was to create a new network service that could be used to bring PlayStation games to multiple devices, including non-PlayStation devices, such as Sony Sony and Samsung television. So I mean, I don't know. Here's what he said: backward compatibility is hard. I won't say we'll never do it, but it's not an easy thing to do. If it was easy, we would have done that.
No, and that's fair enough. I mean, even Phil Spencer said that we didn't think we were going to be able to do this.
Yeah, like I mean, people are kind of complaining because, of course, they're like, "Hey, you said it wasn't possible." Like, well, I mean, people like they have a team of engineers constantly looking how to improve things. Like, it's not impossible that they would find a workaround towards a formerly impossible task.
I mean, once again, in the video game industry, never believe in never.
Right.
So even though he's saying no, I mean, a certain company also said that a certain game would never be remade, and here we are. But I could see them do some. I understand that if they're going to go forward with this, they need to do it in a way that protects PlayStation now. Because whether people like it or not, they invested a lot of money in it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if, I mean, even if it's not PS3 stuff, like, can we get PS1 games out here?
Yeah.
Like,
even if it's just like, if you put the disc in, PlayStation Now senses it and lets you play it without having to get that goddamn subscription.
Yeah, at least do that much.
Yeah, that would be a huge feather, and you wouldn't have to worry about backwards compatibility. But hey, as of right now, major kudos to Xbox there. That's really cool. And how do you follow up this blockbuster announcement? With a bathroom break, as they talk about the Xbox Elite wireless controller.
It's a cool looking controller.
It's a cool looking controller, though I don't know entirely what it does. It looks like a lot of the pieces you can change.
It is definitely geared toward pro game. Mm-hmm. The people are on that circuit. Especially price-wise, because it is $150.
Good God.
Yeah. But man, is it customizable and what?
Yep. So Todd Howard, game director of Bethesda Studios.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that sort of surprised me, because
Yeah.
When he came out yesterday, like his boss said, I got him to come out here today and told him that it would be just one demo he was doing for E3. And now here he is the next day. What is this?
Yeah.
And add on top of to the what is this? He basically just gives a summarized version of what he said yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, seriously, why is he here? This is just a downgraded version of yesterday's presser. And then he says mods that will work on PSC will work on Xbox One for free, which I write sounds like I wrote right at the start, hey, this is a great feather in the cap for Xbox. However, as also reported on other press websites, they're also going to be working on that to work on PS4.
Yeah,
so.
because of course, yeah, why wouldn't they? Like people were like I saw as soon as they announced that, I saw people like, well, it looks like I'm switching my PS4 pre-order to Xbox One. I was like, they literally just announced it. Like, why wouldn't they put those on PlayStation?
And this is what I don't like about Xbox. That there's a lot of subterfuge. That like they'll announce info for what's good for them, and then without saying everything. At least Sony will say first on PS4 or something like that, or first on PlayStation. But anyway, Peter Moore, the COO of EA Entertainment.
I like it.
Yeah, he seemed all right, even though I would say this was kind of the WTF moment of this conference. He pimps out EA Access, which I forgot was a thing because I don't have an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about Madden 2015 on August 15.
Yep.
Hey, you get to play early, Joe, because you're part of EA Access.
I am not.
Oh, okay. Well, I assumed you were. But
no.
Hey, Titanfall is joining EA Access in the vault.
All right.
As is Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
It's getting the access. EA is opening, and he also announced EA is opening their vault for free all week long for gold members. That's great. And hey, if you needed another announcement that you didn't really care about, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 announced. All right.
That can look fun.
It looks fun, but they may as well just put : quest for more money next to it.
Mm-hmm.
As, this time, of course, the story, if you want to say there's lore in Plants vs. Zombies, is that this time it's the plants invading the zombies' hometown, which is like, wait, they have a hometown?
No, that town that you play all the games in or whatever. The zombies eventually take over, I guess. And you're the plants trying to take the city back.
All right. Well, that would make more sense.
That is the extent of my knowledge of the Plants vs. Zombies lore.
And we then get to, this is an E3, Joe, so there's only so many guarantees that can happen at E3. But you know that what one is, Joe?
What's that?
Car porn. As we go to Forza 6.
Yeah.
When a Ford GT lowers from the ceiling. And
Go ahead.
And the whole time I'm thinking, please don't fall. Please don't fall.
It's funny because it just kind of hovers there for like 30 seconds and then they just shoot it back up to the ceiling. It's like, okay, that was nice.
Oh, yeah. That's like,
It's like, what was the point of that? What was the point of breaking that thing?
for me, I appreciated it just because I have no idea what if you just said, hey, there's going to be 4 GTs in there. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Well,
It's
they
that.
they revealed it at the Detroit Auto Show earlier this year, and they're like, and when they did that, they're like, this is going to be the cover car for Forza Motorsport 6 when that game comes out. And I was like, okay.
All right. You were speaking Arabic just now, but all right. But then, in the shocker of shockers, Henry Ford III.
Like the whitest person in the history of...
Wow. And just think, he was probably paid several $1,000s, went into his jet, flew down to this convention, came out and said, I'm very excited to have the Ford GT and Forza 6. Then went to the back, went back in his jet, and went back home.
Okay.
Collected his paycheck. And it was like, fucking nerds. But oh, man. So the Ford GT is in Forza 6, and, he then passes to Dan Greenalt, creative director for Turn 10 Studios. They do an intro trailer, and it sure is a racing game, and I write here, pass to Joe so he can pimp out this thing more than I can.
It looks fine. I hope it's better than Forza 5, because I did not like that game very much.
Put that on the back of the box, folks. You're like, I hope it's better than the previous one.
Because, man, what a crapper. What a big old pile of poop.
And September is going to be expensive as it comes out on the 15th of September.
Oy.
And here was my heart-racing moment of this conference, Joe. They said world premiere exclusive.
Uh-huh.
Then the words from software appear.
Oh, boy.
You know what's funny? I actually write from software ... oh boy. and right off, okay, it's Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out right now because are they saying an exclusive?
Oh man, if it was an exclusive, I thought, well, I guess I'm doing the show solo for the rest of my life. Because Malcolm just died.
Oh, God. And trying to figure out what it is. It might be a prequel to Dark Souls 2. It's not an exclusive. Woo! It's going to be out in 2016. I'm guessing March, because that's usually when they come out. And they also released a statement on this game that this is the final Dark Souls game.
You know, I've barely played any of these games, and I'm already getting fatigued on all the Souls and Bloodborns and whatnot.
Well, you're going to have one less Souls game as Miyamoto, the genius behind the series.
That's not Miyamoto. That's Miyamoto's Nintendo's game.
All right, well, whatever.
Don't give me whatever. I don't know who he is.
Okay.
This is your thing.
Oh, fuck's sake.
You're the one who's got to know this.
All right, so I'm going to look this up right now.
Miyazaki, isn't it?
Miyazaki, thank you. At least I'm pretty sure here.
Big ass no nerd.
But anyway, he's not working on this one either. Yeah, Hideteki
I thought he
Miyazaki. What's it? There you go.
I thought he was. I thought I read that he was working on it.
Oh, no. He's not. Much like he didn't work on Dark Souls 2, he's staying on Bloodborne because they're working on DLC as we speak. So he's continuing working on there while Dark Souls is once again on its own.
Uh-huh.
So, just to give you an idea where the power lies over there, Bloodborne, I think, is going to be a thing on Nintendo.
Yeah!
That would be what the hell is this doing on here? But anyway, final Dark Souls game, so I'll enjoy that when it comes out. Anyway, more Division talk, and it talks about the lore and da-da-da, and this series is now starting to annoy me. March 8th, 2016. We then go to Ubisoft America, Laurent Daytok. Xbox One players will be the first to play The Division on Xbox One this December in a beta. Mm-hmm. He also announces that Rainbow Six Siege will release on October 13th. Yep. And this is where we start to see the business strategy of having backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
As he announces that, hey, if you buy this game, you can get this game on PS4 too. But if you get it on Xbox One, he doesn't actually say, you can get it on PS. Don't mention the competition at conference. He says that players that buy this on Xbox One will also get Rainbow Six Vegas and Rainbow Six Vegas 2 on Xbox One for free.
Those are awesome games. That's a good deal.
That is a very good deal. You're getting 3 games for the price of 1.
And I think they said the same thing for Fallout in terms of getting Fallout 3.
Oh, thank you. You're right. Yeah, you get Fallout 3 with your Fallout 4 because you know what? Fallout 4, it's a pretty quick game. I mean, you can...
Yeah, it's a few hours long.
Yeah, it would be nice to have like another game to fall back on.
Oh man, that's another game that I have that I want to replay.
That you want what?
That's another game that I want to replay, but I don't have an Xbox 360 right now. So I'm waiting on that compatibility.
We then cut to a trailer, and the game looks all right. And we then cut to another trailer for Gigantic, exclusive to Xbox One and Windows 10.
Yeah, it's like a free-to-play thing or something.
Yeah. And I write here, not sure if a MOBA, a team combat, a single player, or what, but you play as one of several different characters: Imani, the Margrave, Vodin, Charnel, and Toto the Swift and Fang. And you get like a guardian monster. So I don't know if it's like Pokemon or if each one has their own unique one.
Gameplay-wise, didn't seem like my cup of tea, but I dig the art.
Yeah. The beta will release on August 2016. And then, Joe, these shows, they're only 2 hours long, so you need a montage for all the games you're getting. As I don't know, but unfortunately for some of these projects, there was at one point, because it starts with Cuphead, which looks great, right?
That game fucking awesome.
It is. That game makes me want an Xbox One. It's like, fucking hey, that is such an amazing concept. Rise and shine, and I don't know if this happened in your feed, but then it went to darkness. Like for the longest time, I think there was a good minute of black, which
that might have been your feed.
What's that?
I think that might have been your feed.
Well, it was IGN and it was GameSpot that I used, and it was black on both.
Oh yeah, I was streaming on Xbox One, like they had an app or whatever for themselves. They're like, yeah, come stream our conference on our app on your console. I was like, okay.
All right, well there you go.
And so I did.
And I felt so bad for some of these studios because this was all the time they were going to get on E3.
Yeah, it was basically an indie montage of their own. They kind of ate PlayStation's thing, but it was perfectly fine because weirdly enough, Sony didn't really focus on indies as much as they usually do.
Yeah, well, you should know it's fine because like last year they went like I would even want to I kind of want to say over the top with it, and this year, all right, here are your AAAs, calm the fuck down. Anyway, so after Rise and Shine and a lot of blackness, we get Phantasmal, Solace Project, West Dorado, Sword Coast Legends, Outworld, The Adventure Life Sim, Goat Simulator, More Goats Edition, Game 4, Below, Ark Survival Evolve, Recruits, and Super Hot, all thanks to ID at Xbox.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of great things about West Dorado, too. It's on PC right now, I think.
Yeah, it looked very interesting. I liked it. So then we go to Chris Charla, director of Xbox ID, and he introduces a few of those guys, like Steve Gaynor, who introduces Tacoma. And these are the same people who did Gone Home.
Yep.
And it's sort of like a scary version of Gone Home. Eerie exploration as well. We then go to Derek Bradley from Aurora 24 for Ashen. Looks like a very interesting dungeon explorer that's kind of creepy, mainly because the player characters don't have any faces. And the first thing I thought of, this might be fun to play with Sandra. And then we go to Shirida Hilata from Tiger as Squid with Beyond Eyes. A story of hope with nice watercolor design. And
that game looks really nice.
Yeah, I think the girl is supposed to be blind, and this is her learning how to survive.
Right, like you can only see what's like immediately next to her, I think.
And then Chad and Jarrett Moldhurrier here and their game Cuphead,
again, oh my god,
which is built in the style of a 1950s cartoon,
1930s really,
1930s cartoon, and it looks as amazing as it looks punishingly hard.
Yeah, that was the consensus from people playing it on the show floor.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, it looks just like a cartoon. It's great.
Yeah, it is beautifully animated. Holy cow!
So much work. We then go to an Xbox game Xbox game preview, which is a new initiative they got here, which lets players buy and play a game that's still in active development. So essentially, you're now paying the studio money to be a quality assurance tester.
No, I think it's like the games are free and you can decide to buy it or not in early development.
Well, it starts off free. You get a trial.
Right, that's what I mean. And then you can decide to pay if you want.
Yeah, if you want to continue to be play testing it, you have to pay.
Right. I mean, that exists on PC with Steam Early Access or whatever.
Yeah.
But you do have to pay for the game up front or whatever, and you might just be stuck with a crappy game that either A, never gets better, or B, never fully comes out. But here, Xbox is taking a slightly smarter approach by saying the games are free to start, and then you can decide to pay for it if you want later.
Video game industry is a crapshoot, folks.
Yeah.
And anyway, so this will be on select games, and such select games include Long Dark, Shelter, Elite Dangerous, and DayZ. And it starts now with Long Dark and Elite Dangerous. We then go to Dean Hall, creator of DayZ, and he introduces a new game he's doing called Ion, which is exclusive on Xbox One and PC. And as far as I can tell, it's a space sim.
Yeah.
Okay. That's coming. Folks, if they show us a teaser, we're not going to have much to talk about. I mean,
yeah, like here's 15 seconds of very vague footage. Woo!
That's pretty much what it is. But we didn't get vague footage of this next one. Brian Horton of Crystal Dynamics here to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider, and we get to see some honest-to-goodness game footage, Joe. And boy, does it look like a rebooted Tomb Raider sequel.
It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a great time, I think. And you get to see Laura once again refining herself, taking on the wilderness, including bears. Jesus Christ!
Oh man, that guy that she was with in the demo, he's dead, right? He died at the end of that demo. There's no way, right?
No. Well, I think he was one of the. I think he was actually one of the guys from the first game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but this being a sequel doesn't mean he has to survive to the end of it.
I don't think he would die off camera.
I mean, the avalanche totally fell on top of him, and she seemed to have the only route away from it.
I'll have to rewatch the footage, but he's not going to die. But anyway,
super.
But the game looks really great. It's going to be out. We have a release date, Joe. November 10th, 2015.
See, now why would they do this to me? Why would they make me choose between this and Fallout?
Oh, I see now. You're like, Mr. Oh, that's going to be fine coming out the same day. I was like, seeing this, I'm starting to think it's not such a bad idea that Uncharted 4 got delayed. Fucking A. I mean, but yeah, that's an interesting test. It's now Fallout versus Lara Croft. So,
man.
Oh man! So we go to another exclusive, and they're still doing that pet peeve of mine for these conferences where it's a trailer, but they'll do a far out shot of people watching the trailer. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I never understand that. It's like, let's watch people watching something. Like, just show us the.
We want to see the trailer, not them.
Like, the less I get to see other people, the happier I am.
So we go to Craig Deacon, studio head of Rare. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, we go to the footage, and we get Rare Replay, which is 30 classic Rare games on one disc, including a terrible picture of the Battletoads on there. It's like, it's like Michael Bay did the picture. It's ridiculous. We then go to Craig Deacon, studio head of Rare, and by the way, these are 30 games, like including 3 versions of Battletoads, as there was apparently an arcade beat 'em up.
Yeah.
So all that ridiculous over-the-top hard crap, don't worry about it.
It's 30 games for $30, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, some of those games are even good.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, there's no GoldenEye on it, so whatever. Who cares?
So we then go from Craig, and he introduces a new Xbox exclusive, which is their super ambitious game. So kind of a little shot at old No Man's Sky there.
What was it called? Their pirate game?
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It's an open-world pirate game where you and your friends can be a band of pirates, have your own ship. If one of them gets out of line, you can even make them walk the plank.
Okay.
And there's like quite a few sharks in that water, so.
I did miss Rare making real video. They got bought out, Microsoft bought them from Nintendo, like in 2002 or whatever, like right in the middle of the original Xbox's life cycle. And they put out some piece of crap game that nobody liked. And then after that, they're like, all right, you do avatars and Kinect sports games now. Oh. Like, these are the guys who made Donkey Kong and Perfect Dark.
No.
Like, what are we doing here? Why'd you spend $1 billion or whatever?
All right. But in their defense, the game looks fun, and it's going to be free to play on Xbox Gold and on PC Windows 10.
All right.
And then we go into another exclusive, which I feel is suffering an identity crisis, Joe, as it's Fable Legends. And I swear, every trailer I see for this game makes me think it's a completely different game. Like in this one, it's like this Mother of the Forest or forest spirits saying how this is not this kind of game. Like, I actually thought this was a new IP when I first started seeing it. And it was like, these heroes need to be taught a lesson, da-da-da, and it's like, oh, it's Fable Legends, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Fable, it's just so boring to me, that franchise. Like, I tried to get into Fable 2, and I was like, eh. And I looked at Fable 3, and it looked like more of that, and I was like, eh. And then they made that Unreal's game for Kinect. I was like, who cares about Fable anymore? Like, I barely cared about it at all, and I was like, eh. So I saw a new Fable game for Xbox One, I was like, eh.
It's a shame because I loved that first Fable game. That first one was tight, and then I don't know, it just went downhill from there somehow. Then we have Kudo Tsunoda comes out and announces a partnership with Valve VR, and the crowd does not know how to respond to this.
Yeah, it's weird because they recently announced a partnership with Oculus VR by they said that they're going to bundle like Xbox One controllers with the Oculus on PC or whatever.
Yeah, that's a huge get right there. And Windows 10 is going to be the place for VR games. Oh boy. And they also talk about HoloLens, a holographic computer there.
They did have a Halo HoloLens demo there at E3 on the show floor, by the way.
That must have been a tongue twister to get out there.
Halo HoloLens. Shuhei Yoshida was very pleased with it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they took all sorts of footage of him like playing it, but yeah, which looks cool. Which is it's on the pro side. You can sort of set Iron Man type notices from your computer up on the wall that you can read. The problem is you need to keep this big freaking VR headset on.
Hey Jarvis, this is my hot pocket, right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's gonna be the shiznip on it. And then we cut to another PS4, another Microsoft exclusive, Minecraft, with Lydia Winter, who was just so happy. She works at Mojang, I have to tell you.
Oh, hold on a second. She pronounced it Mo Yang, which surprised. That was probably the biggest bombshell of the day. It was like, it's pronounced Mo Yang? Everybody's been saying Mo Jang for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Where do you get off, man, saying Mo Yang?
And she really loves her job, but she shows off. She shows off playing Minecraft with the HoloLens, and holy shit, does it look cool! At first, I thought, oh my god, it's coming from the table, but then I realized, no, I'm looking through a special camera,
right?
And this is what the guys see. It's still pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I hope to see it utilized on a game that I actually care about,
and I hope to see it utilized on a hardware that's not $1,000.
I'd like to see that implemented with them.
Yeah, but it looked pretty cool. Like, he was interacting in the world just by talking, and you could like zoom in and see the other person playing. It was really cool.
Yeah, if you're a Borderlands fan, that seems, or not Borderlands, I say Borderlands. If you're a Minecraft fan, that seems really cool.
And finally, we ended with Gears of War as, for Pete's sake, I lost my space here. There we go. Rod Ferguson came out and made 2 announcements, Joe.
All right.
Number 1, we are, of course, getting a Gears of War Ultimate Edition that'll have the previous 3 games all in one.
Incorrect.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It is the original game only.
Just the original game only?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. They're really stretching this out. Wow. We can
$40 it's going to be.
We can get all 4 Halo. We can get 4 of the Halo games in one disc, but we can only get 1 Gears of War.
1 Gears of War game.
Because it was that incredible, I guess. Wow.
It was a pretty incredible game.
At the time, yeah.
It was really the first next-gen game. I was like, yeah, this is properly next-gen stuff.
And speaking of which, we go into a trailer for Gears. I guess this would be Gears 5, wouldn't it?
No, Gears 4.
Gear 4. What was Judgment Day? Was that, like, not an official one? Or?
It is best forgotten.
I guess so. So
it is the Arkham Origins of its franchise.
All right. So we go into a trailer for Gears 4, which essentially, if you imagine Gears characters invading a Resident Evil castle, then this is what it would be. But it was very dark and atmospheric.
Very, very, very dark.
Indeed.
Like actually literally very dark. It was hard to see anything happen.
I mean, when you could, it looked spectacular.
When some rays of light got in there, it was pretty nice.
Mm.
And it's also funny that someone, like, I guess it was just Epic, because, they bought the franchise from Epic Games, and it now belongs to Microsoft. And I forget what the studio developing the game now is called, but they kind of looked at the characters like, that's not what humans look like. so they look like real humans now.
Which is a little weird for that franchise.
It really is. It doesn't look like they're made out of uncooked steaks or whatever.
It would be like if you took Mario and you made him look more realistic, and it was like, this doesn't work with this franchise.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old meatheads now. Yeah. Is that weird? Like, I made fun of them for years and years. but now that they're gone, it's like I kind of miss them.
Yeah, I miss the roided up 80s.
But I guess that's what the Ultimate Edition is for. The original game. It's like they'll be there.
Never forget. Yeah, and this game is going to be out holiday 2016.
Yeah.
And Phil Spencer comes out to close the show, and that's it. And I have to say, not a bad show from him.
Not a bad show at all. Lots of games coming out this year.
Indeed, and the backwards compatibility, of course, was probably the most significant announcement made, and that's going to be a tremendous feather in Microsoft cap. It looks like for the foreseeable future. And they did announce some cool games. They are some games that aren't on there that are very conspicuous by its absence, such as, of course, Scalebound and what was that time game? I keep forgetting.
Quantum Break?
Quantum Break, thank you. Yeah, nothing on Quantum Break, not even a release date.
No, I mean, they'd mentioned before that game wasn't going to be at the show.
Ah, okay. Hey, but they did cover it up well, and they had some other stuff. Granted, I thought they went a little overboard with the equipment stuff. Like, here's a new controller, here's VR helmets, and all this stuff for a game, and we're going to show it with a game that's been out for centuries. It feels like now. So it's. But other than that, not bad. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, when they said that here's the Minecraft person, I thought, holy shit, they're finally going to announce Minecraft 2, and that'll be it for the Minecraft train on PlayStation. But I guess not.
All right. So did Microsoft win the coveted Who Won E3?
Nobody wins or loses.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those times. At the end of the day, I think we all won. But
I mean, because
we meant it. Yeah.
Because again, as I keep saying, I think everyone had a good show. So I was like, yeah, this is good for everybody. Good stuff.
But how did Nintendo do? Well,
I thought Nintendo did okay, Malcolm.
All right. Well, let's head to it. The Nintendo conference. You thought Nintendo did okay. Right.
What you got for Nintendo, Malcolm?
What do I got for Nintendo?
Yeah.
What do you got for Nintendo?
Oh, yeah, I'm just kidding. I got it.
Okay. I was about to say.
All right. Nintendo E3 of the year of our Lord, 2015.
All right. Well, what did they do this year that's going to fill me with confidence for having bought that Wii U earlier?
Well, first of all, they seem to have a very strong relationship with the Muppet people.
Jim Henson, yeah.
The Jim Henson Company or what have you.
Yeah, that is legit, by the way. That was the Henson Company.
Yeah, I was like, those are Muppets. Those are totally Muppets. And it turns out they were. The big three that we mentioned earlier for Nintendo, Iwata, Miyamoto, and Reggie, all came out as Muppets, which I thought was super adorable and fun.
I will say this, like, everyone is ripping this apart for whatever the reason.
Really? I thought it was great. I thought it was super...
Yeah, I enjoyed this. So it's like, I liked it better than Robot Chicken because it felt like they were taking, taking shots at their fans.
Yeah.
But no, this was just fun. Like Reggie in the gym, Nintendo 63, Nintendo 64. And to skip ahead a little bit, they did that the Muppet version of that iconic photo of Iwata staring at a banana.
Yeah, he's just kind of hanging out at his desk looking at bananas. It's like, this is great. Yeah, like dancing between trailers or whatever.
Okay, that's the only thing. They danced they did 6 segments of them dancing.
I mean, it's not like they were dancing for 2 minutes at a time. Like they were just between trailers. Here's them dancing for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like okay. It's like the first time was great. The second time was like okay. It's like
hey man, you pay for the Muppets, you're gonna use them.
Yeah, but look, you could have done have them playing basketball or something. I don't care.
Okay, all right. Let's not pretend that these are actual people. These are puppets. You can't have them play basketball. How does a Muppet play basketball? Malcolm?
It's been done, dude.
Show me the physics. It's impossible.
It's like you don't show the dribbling. You show the dribbling off camera. You show the passes and what have you, and then you make a spectacular moment of them dunking the ball. It's been done. Or here's an idea: there's a tennis game out. Have them play tennis.
There's always a tennis game out.
Well, there wasn't this one here, which we'll get to. But anyway, so what did they talk about?
Well, these Muppets, Malcolm, as they near the end of the first segment, this opening segment, they start becoming animals or whatever. It's like that's weird. He's got a rabbit snout. He's got some ears. It's like what's going on here? No, look, they transform into the 3 heroes from the Star or 3 of the 4 heroes. Flippy was nowhere to be seen.
No, of course
the
not.
frog. Because who cares?
Fuck that guy. Yeah. Oh, by the way, what was playing in the background during all this?
Star Fox.
Yeah, including when they were like, coming together and walking very awkwardly.
But yeah, it was all just a giant lead up to the reveal of Star Fox Zero, with the trailer and that'll be coming out fall 2015 on Wii U. And that game looks pretty good. Looks like pretty much a straight up Star Fox game from back in the day on the Super Nintendo and N64.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like a great N64 game.
I mean,
go ahead.
Again, the scuttlebutt from the show floor is that it was actually pretty good. But the dev diary, the development diary, that they were talking to Miyamoto about the development of the game, and like the way Miyamoto does, being the super adorable, charming old man that he is, he's like, yeah, like everything that he does is somehow rooted in his childhood or whatever. Like the entire thing was it was like the whole behind the scenes thing took place at some shrine near where he grew up.
See, this shows you how much of a genius this fucking guy is. Right?
It really does. He's like, I like the Fox Guardian thing. He's like, it wouldn't be nice if we made a game with a fox in it. Like, and and all these arches around here. It's like, what? Like people like flying under arches. Let's make a space game where people fly under arches and you're a fox.
I saw this and I heard this and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You got Star Fox from this?
I know. It was so nice.
God.
It's just everything that man says is just like super pleasant and nice. It's like, oh.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Like
I love him so much.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Like Nintendo has these cherished creators, as Sony is starting to get to, and it really makes you look forward to these conferences, hearing these guys talk.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Shigeru Miyamoto. He's the best. But yeah, I mean that game looks cool. Like you can transform your R-wing into like a walking mech thing, which apparently was a mechanic that they wanted to put into Star Fox 2, which famously was canceled near the end of its development. So he's like, it's nice that I got to actually use this mechanic again.
Yeah, on the plus side, it's great that there's no walking in this game like there was in previous Star Foxes.
Jesus, no.
And I do like the transformation and what have you. I'm a little weary of the fact that that you're gonna have to be looking through the gamepad as much as you are in order to shoot and what have you. Yeah.
It seemed pretty cool. Like the idea being, I think that I forget which screen has like a third-person view while the other screen has a cockpit view, but they both pretty much stream simultaneously or whatever. So if you want a more precise view, you look at the other screen.
I think it would be cool if it was like a co-pilot option where player 2 plays through there to make more precise shots while the other person flies the plane or something.
That might be okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that'd be okay, but I guess you'd give the regular controller to the person flying the plane, I guess.
So yeah, it looks good. It's going to be good. I'm a little wary that like I said, graphically it doesn't look like even the freaking Mario games looked amazing for Wii U games. Like they're like, I know there's limitations on the Wii U, but Nintendo, for whatever the reason, were always good making the most of what they had to a point where I didn't even notice. And this is like really the first Wii U game where I'm like, oh, okay, this is the limitations right here.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing about Star Fox Zero is that it seems, when he brought up the fact that, it had a mechanic from Star Fox 2 that he wanted to use, it does kind of seem like he's just making Star Fox 2 the way that he wanted it to be, down to the graphics being super polygonal, from back in the day or whatever. So I don't know. It's as long as the game's fun, I think that's fine. I guess we'll see once the game is actually out. But I mean, I think it's a big deal to have a Star Fox game coming out this fall.
Oh, yeah, it's not nothing, I'll say. But yeah, it'll be nice, and I'm sure it'll be fun too.
Yeah.
All right. So what else was announced?
Let's see. After the trailer and after the development diary, Reggie Fils-Aimé, he comes out, kind of just talks about how the underlying theme for the hour, kind of emphasized also by the transforming R-wing or whatever, is like a lot of what we're going to show you has to do with transformation. That's going to be kind of the theme of the game or of our thing. Even though I didn't really see it in the next thing that they showed, which was that Donkey Kong and Bowser are going to be guest starring in the new Skylanders game this year. Skylanders Superchargers.
That is actually kind of a big deal. I thought that was cool that that there's now we've gotten those little toy action figures are such a big deal now that there are some that appear in 2 different games.
Yeah, obviously those figures are only going to be compatible with the Wii U version of the game.
Of course, yeah.
But the interesting thing too is that they're not just Skylanders figures, but like if you just twist the bottom of the base or whatever, and they become like amiibos to be compatible with Nintendo's games. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I did enjoy hearing the guy from Activision talk about collaborating with Nintendo. Like, he was talking about with Bowser, we wanted to give him this cool super, so we originally wanted to bring Giga Bowser into it. And they were like, well, yeah, that's good, but you could do something different with him. So they made Magma Bowser, which is just like Bowser with insane fire abilities. And they're like, oh, that's much, much better, you see. And I was like, all right, whatever. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I guess that's the transformation, is that, they can go back and forth between being Skylanders and being amiibos.
Oh, there you go. You solved it. And let's see, what was the next? And so that was pretty cool. And what was the next one?
The next thing was like, oh, you guys want to check out a new Legend of Zelda game? I was like, oh, yes, I want to check out a new Legend of Zelda game. And they announced Triforce Heroes. What are you going for?
It's Triforce Heroes, dude. It's Force Swords or whatever it was called.
Yeah, but this time only 3 people can play instead of 4.
Oh, well, that's an improvement.
I mean, the gameplay looks super fun, though. Like, 4 Swords is a fucking fun time.
All right.
Yeah, like, it's basically just a 3-person, a 3-player, kind of like a dungeon crawler, I guess, as far as Zelda goes. You kind of co-op, you guys climb on top of each other to solve puzzles, and it seemed fun.
Okay.
I mean, that's coming out also fall 2015 on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
It looked fun.
Okay.
Fun. And within that, they're like, oh, and also here's more Hyrule Warriors after that. Like, they're like, oh, like at the during the development diary, and we're also working on this Hyrule Warriors game. Oh, also we have a trailer for that, which is Hyrule Warriors Legends, which is basically the Wii U game on 3DS, but it includes all the DLC as well as some original characters that weren't in the Wii U game, and that'll be out in the first quarter of 2016.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
You're more impressed by Hyrule Warriors than by Triforce Heroes?
Yeah.
Okay. Just putting a feeler out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all right,
it's a good game. They did a good job with it, man.
Did you play it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. For what it was fun. I'm not saying it's game of the year, but I'm just saying it was a fun game.
All right. No big deal.
Okay, so what else got announced?
All right, the next one I can understand where people are coming from.
Thank you. I really thought you were going to defend this.
They could have called it anything else and it would have been fine. But they decided to call it Metroid Prime Federation Force. And it also comes with another thing called Metroid Prime Blast Ball. But these 2 games are coming on 3DS in 2016. They're basically co-op missions. I guess
Metroid.
Yeah. Like obviously it takes place in the world of Metroid or whatever, where you're fighting space pirates with the Federation that helps them us out or whatever. But man, like I heard. I got off of work on Tuesday. I got an email from Nintendo before I'd watched the conference. Like, check out all the news on game announcements from franchises like Zelda and Mario and Metroid. I was like, Metroid, I have to get home now. And I get home and I was like, all right, let's see what's up with Metroid. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was pretty much me too. Like, I went to IGN and they're like, new Metroid game announced. I'm like, oh my god, and no, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they'd called it anything else, I think it would have seemed like an okay game. Like, it probably will still just be like an okay game, but I really wish they'd called it literally anything else.
And to pour more gas on the fire, they actually they interviewed the guy who made Metroid, and he was like, "Oh yeah, dude, it would take me 3 years to do it. So even if there wasn't,
I love that line because it's like, well, why didn't you start it 3 or 4 years ago then?"
He's like, yeah, in order for me to do that, I would have to. It would be definitely an NX game. I was like, all right, well, let's just make me more freaking care less about the system that I just bought.
Man, I really want a new Metroid game.
I did, but it's not going to come for a while, Joe. Sorry.
That Blast Ball game they showed on Sunday. I don't think they called it Metroid Prime Blast Ball or whatever, but they were playing it during that World Championships thing or whatever on Sunday before Bethesda's thing. Mm-hmm. They're like, check out this wacky 3DS game. It's called Blast Ball. It's basically soccer where you shoot at the ball instead of kicking it. So it's like, okay. But anyway, 2016 for that on 3DS.
Yeah,
goodness gracious.
This takes. I agree. They should have called it anything else. But
literally anything else.
Oh my god! And this was sort of set the tone for hey, these are new franchises, new games for the franchises that aren't games for the franchises. Really, like I'm sorry, but I don't consider Three Swords like typical Zelda about as much as I consider Blast Balls, a Metroid game. And I'm guessing you're going right into Animal Crossing stuff next.
No, that didn't come up yet.
Okay.
What came up next was Fire Emblem, that new Fire Emblem game on 3DS.
Okay, that looks good. Yeah.
That they just for like a year almost, they just like new Fire Emblem is kind of what they were calling it. But they gave it a proper name now. It's Fire Emblem Fates. That'll be coming on 3DS in 2016 as well. And that seems like a proper follow up to Fire Emblem. What is it, Awakening?
Mm-hmm.
Which was an excellent fucking game. So more of that seems perfectly fine. I'm happy to play more of that because that looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Those games are awesome. But more surprising is that they also showed a Fire Emblem Rhythm game or something.
Did they? I missed that part.
Yeah, like Atlas is doing it. It was very confusing because the title card that they showed at the end was Japanese, and like they didn't show any platforms or specifically what it would be. And I forgot to look to follow up on that, but it seems that they're making a Fire Emblem Rhythm game or something for 2016 on some Nintendo platform. I was like, okay, whatever.
That's a great reaction to have to that.
I was like, this is very confusing. But more up your alley, Malcolm, right after this and before Animal Crossing still, they showed some more Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, and they finally gave a release date.
Yeah, that will be December 4th, 2015 on Wii U.
Which I think is a great release date for it.
Yeah, it'll be after the rush of your typical AAA stuff from Western developers.
Yeah, most stuff comes out around November before Black Friday. So.
Yeah, but this is still before Christmas, so.
Yep, still counts.
So it predates Christmas by 3 weeks. So that's fine.
And was it me or did the graphics look better?
It looks really good. That's a good-looking game.
It is. That's like making... I still can't believe it's one disc when I see this game. And like,
yeah.
So that's definitely going to be... That'll be like the game I get for Wii U this year.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So what else got announced?
Now after that, then they showed some of that Animal Crossing. They showed 2 different Animal Crossing games here, Malcolm.
That weren't really Animal Crossing.
Well, the first one kind of is. It just kind of puts you on the other side of things. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer releasing September 25th this year on 3DS.
Yeah, you just design rooms. It's not growing prunes and selling them.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Animal Crossing minus the grind of doing all that other stuff. Where, other animals in the town or whatever come to you. They're like, hey, I'd like a room to look like this, please. And you're like, okay. And you do that for them. And they're like, hey, cool.
So you'll be first in line for this game?
I don't know. I'm undecided.
What about the new Mario Part? I mean...
Amiibo Festival, Malcolm, on Wii U. Coming holiday 2015. Amiibo Festival. That also means that they'll be releasing some Animal Crossing Amiibos, which means I might actually buy some Amiibos. God damn it.
Yeah, they're doing like a whole swarm of Animal Crossing Amiibos.
You got your KK Slider. You got your all of them, all the ones matter. You got your Tom Nook. You got Isabelle. Oh man, I want them all.
Yep, that's how they get you, Joe.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, these 2 titles I was not impressed. I thought it was going to be like a proper Animal Crossing game. It was like, all right, an entry point for me. And like, nope, it's just spin-off garbage.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Mario Party,
yeah, it's Mario Party. Thank you.
Yeah, those aren't good games. I don't know why they would emulate that.
They may as well have just called this Metroid Animal Crossing. That should have been the theme of the night. They just put Metroid in every single title. It's like Super Mario Maker is now called Super Metroid Maker. We'll get to that in a second. Don't worry, folks. All right. So what else got announced?
Well, they announced a release date for Yoshi's Woolly World, which is basically I don't know if you played Kirby's Epic Yarn back on the Wii, but this seems like a Yoshi-fied version of that. Basically, based on what I've seen, over the past year or so since they announced it. That game looks so cute. They were showing gameplay of it, and I couldn't handle it. I was actually making noises. I was like, squeak! It's so cute.
It looks so cute, and at the same time, it looks really fun too. I did it. The most I got out of this was that we're gonna get a yarn amiibo for it, or something like that.
Which again is super clever and cute. They're like, they're like the amiibo won't be plastic like the other ones. Like it'll be made out of yarn, just like the little Yoshi in the game. Oh. God damn it, I can't handle it. So cute. The cutest thing I've ever seen.
And there's going to be different forms of Yoshis, too. Like, there's going to be a Samus.
Yeah, like, it works with your regular amiibos, like, whatever ones you have. Like, if you put on a Mario one, he'll dress up in Mario colors. It's like, oh, that's...
So, yeah, this game was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll say I dug it.
And again, with the whimsical nature of Nintendo games, the development diary for this one, too, is like the woman that they were talking to. She's like, yeah, one day I just thought it'd be cute to bring in the yarn Yoshi, and the people looked at it, it's like, yeah, let's make a game out of that. And so we did. I was like, man, Classic Nintendo. Just super whimsical and shit.
Super whimsical and shit.
I'm excited for that game.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, so October 16th for that as well this year on Wii U. Then they announced the Level 5 game on 3DS, so I thought it was going to be another Professor Layton game, but no, it is a thing called Yokai Watch, which seems like a really, I don't know, it seems like a weird Pokemon type game where you
I was about to say it's Pokemon.
Yeah. But instead of putting them in the balls on your belt, you put them in little pockets on your watch. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that the game company that owns Pokemon is releasing a Pokemon ripoff type of thing.
Yeah, it's weird. But that's coming on 3DS also this fall, 2015.
So once again, going the same vein of here's a Metroid game that's not a Metroid game, and here's an Animal Crossing that's not an Animal Crossing. Here's a Pokemon game that's not Pokemon. I mean,
but you know what game I'm really excited for?
Tennis?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
That's a creative idea. I like this one too.
Yeah, it's they're kind of like these games have existed separately. Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi games, but they kind of tap the same vein, kind of gameplay wise. So it makes a lot of weird sense to kind of just say, hey, here's Mario and Luigi and the Paper Mario universe just kind of mashing together, and all the regular versions and the paper versions interact with each other, and it looks really fun.
It looks really fun, and I like the idea of it. It bums me out that there's only one Luigi because there is no Paper Luigi.
There is no Paper Luigi.
Shows you how much in the back burner that brother is.
Dear Luigi, Malcolm, it's behind us now. There's no room to complain.
Indeed, and the Paper Bowser and normal Bowser arguing, I thought was really fun too.
It's all really fun, and that's coming spring 2016.
Yeah, there's something somebody said. I think it was somebody from IGN pointed out that a lot of people say that Nintendo doesn't do anything new, but the thing is they do. It's just that
Mario happens to star in most of these.
Exactly, since they do they try all the innovative stuff are done in their normal titles like Mario or Zelda, but because they come out in Mario or Zelda, people are quick to say, "Oh, it's just another Mario and Zelda." Like, no, there's innovation there. It's just it's just with the same.
Yeah, you just have to get past the fact that characters are used. Again.
Yeah, so I mean, both of those games play very differently. So I'm very curious to see how the clash of styles mesh.
Yeah,
so,
like the humor is pretty consistent between both games, so I'm excited to see that.
All right,
good stuff.
Yeah, all right. So what's the next game they announced?
Here is where Mario Tennis Ultra Smash comes into play, Malcolm.
All right,
for Wii U, also holiday 2015. Looks like a Mario Tennis game for sure.
It sure is Mario Tennis.
I really wish that the console games kind of followed the path of the portable games, where they just go ahead and throw RPG elements in there. Because remember Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color, Malcolm, or Mario Golf? Yeah. Those are RPGs that they just dress up in golf and tennis game.
That's a good point.
Like, why don't they do that on the consoles? I'd play the shit out of Mario Tennis if I could do that on the Wii U.
I don't know, Joe. I do not know, but it looks fun.
Yeah. I mean, Mario Tennis games are always a lot.
Yeah. All right. So, what was the next game they talked about?
The final game that they talked about was Super Mario Maker.
And right off the bat, I have a tremendous problem with this segment.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, aside from the game, we should point out the setting for this because it's Miyamoto's back, and he's with this other dude whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, but he's been working on Mario alongside him basically the entire time.
Yeah, and they come out and they bring up, they've been together forever, and they have a table in front of them. And Joe, what's on the table?
Lots of design documents and what have you from the original Super Mario Brothers.
Indeed, lots of design elements from the original Super Mario Brothers, and which right off the bat makes them freaking treasure. Okay?
They're just like, hey, like here's our original design for the title screen and the first level, and here's all the graph paper and the character designs. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Like, this stuff should literally be in a museum. And here they are. It's sprawled all over the table like it's bills from the previous week. You could tell that they just bent some of them and just ruining it. They're like, what are you doing? You should have at least laminate this stuff. This is treasure. And he's like, oh, here's like what we would do when there was a mistake. And he starts crumpling the paper. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey, it's his stuff. He's the one who made it.
It's like, it belongs, to quote Indiana Jones, it belongs in a museum.
It's their property.
This is
they see fit.
Hey, this is me literally giving Nintendo a compliment here. Right? Like, this is treasure. This should be in a vault, not like on a Nintendo fucking Direct. I mean,
well, I thought it was cool that they showed that stuff up.
It was cool, but don't ruin it. Me and Colin Moriarty were on the same mind on this one. No, you're ruining. But anyway, continue. review on this one.
But yeah, they basically said that, like as the games became more sophisticated, so did their tools for making them. It's like, yeah, like eventually got a little easier to design these things. And over the course of all this development, it's like, yeah, when like they kind of made something similar to Mario Maker a few years ago. They're like, hey, this is super fun and easy to use. Like maybe we should release it for the other people for like fans to make their own levels and see what's up. And so they did, and it's called Super Mario Maker. And they added the word super to that. It used to just be Mario Maker generically, but they added the word super, I guess.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the finals of the Nintendo World Championship that happened this week, didn't they use Mario Maker levels for it?
I don't know. I didn't watch a whole lot of that. Like I just tuned in and they happened to be playing Blast Ball or whatever.
Oh, that must have been a fun surprise for those guys. You get to play the next Metroid game. Oh my God, this is great. Which one of us is Samus?
Oh man, but Mario Maker looks pretty neat.
It does. I mean, this is one of those games where, much like one in Sony, where this is for a select group of people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll necessarily play it, not because it's a bad game, but I've just never been drawn to the ones where you create your own level. Like I've never.
Yeah, like I gave like Little Big Planet a fair shake. But like besides playing the story stuff that developers themselves made, I wasn't very good at creating stuff. But something like Mario Maker, I'm interested more not so much in creating my own levels, but kind of playing through what people create.
And to be fair, this is as robust of a set of tools as you can get. Like just the very fact that you can create, you can have the graphics be in old school Mario, you can have it be in Super Mario 3 style, you can have it be in Super Mario World, or you can have it look like Mario Wii. I mean, all that, you got all the enemies at your disposal, including, like, I love the stuff that they did. Like, you can even have enemies that typically aren't in certain Mario levels.
Right, like, let's put some Goombas underwater, because why the fuck not?
And, like, these poor Goombas don't know what to do.
I know, they're just kind of drifting and spinning in space. They're like, what?
It's like,
they're more just obstacles than anything else.
Yeah, they're just obstacles that could hurt you, so, like... and even that in and of itself is pretty cool. So I think the levels that come out of this are going to be really, really awesome, and I think it's going to be a nice. It's going to be a nice it's a nice creation by Nintendo.
Yeah, and I'm always just happy to see any new use of Super Mario World, which is, by the way, the greatest game of all time. It's no big deal. And they also announced too an 8-bit amiibo that they'll be selling separately, which seems to be enormous.
It's gigantic.
It's enormous. They're like, and for this game, we're releasing a new 8-bit amiibo, and I was like, oh, cool. And they pull it out, and it covers like half the gamepad. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? That thing looks enormous. It's probably gonna be like $30.
It's about the size of a large green apple.
Yeah, like a giant Granny Smith apple. Like, plop that motherfucker on your gamepad. It's like, okay.
Like, if you drop it on the gamepad, it's gonna crack it.
I know, like, you will probably break the gamepad before you break the amiibo.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a nice little get for him.
Yeah, and those things, I presume, or the amiibo, I presume, releases alongside Super Mario Maker on September 11th, 2015. Never forget.
Indeed. All right, so Joe, was that was how they ended, right?
That is how they end, and they announced some website where you can put up fan videos of you loving Nintendo and Mario. Like, I think it's called Let's Super Mario or something, and you can Mario up.
Oh yeah, and they ended with all these people, and their Mario stories and kids liking. So that was sweet. Okay, I'll give them that.
Because goddamn it, who doesn't love Mario? Seriously, come on.
Yeah, if he was a real character, he'd be visiting Make-A-Wish kids. I tell
you, he would. He totally would. You know what's really sad is that I bet a lot of kids do ask for more.
I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow got it. Like the guy who voiced Big Bird, he told this very passionate story about this one Make-A-Wish kid who wanted to see Big Bird, so he actually called him. Mm-hmm. And this kid's like, "Oh my God, it's Big Bird." He was like, "Hey," and he said, "Yeah, you and I were friends. We'll be best friends forever." And the kid was just so ecstatic that he got that Big Bird was his friend, and then he died immediately after. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was like, but the kid was so happy, and he died with a huge smile on his face, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful." And,
oh my God, yeah, way to bring everything down.
Indeed, yeah. Which is exactly how I felt about this conference. Oh no. Oh.
It was fine.
Okay, here's my big issue with this. If there was ever any confirmation that the Wii U is dead, it was this conference.
Really? You think so? Because I feel like the Wii U has a better fall lineup than the PS4 does, for sure.
In that PS4 has none? Okay, fine.
Yeah. Like, it's got Star Fox, it's got the Yoshi game, it's got Super Mario Maker. Like, those aren't nothing.
Yeah, but what after that?
Oh, I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be other games coming out between then and these Megaton announcements we'll be talking about soon.
The future is like, from the moment they said we'll be talking about NX next year.
Don't even act like you're not going to be in line for those Animal Crossing amiibos this holiday, Malcolm.
I'm not!
Don't even act like you're not. You got Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's also 2015. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say that the 3DS has a great lineup. That's doing great as usual. And,
well, I mean, it doesn't really have a lot of competition.
Well, it doesn't. But anyway, it's like because one company cares about their handheld and the other one clearly doesn't. So.
Yeah. Like I was watching this Nintendo thing. I was like, man, like they've got pretty much a lot of major hitters and like a lot of major franchises on their thing that the other people are not doing at all.
Oh yeah, this is gonna piss people off, but I would buy a 3DS just for Monster Hunter. I mean, I've just been enjoying the shit out of that, and there's like other games. God damn. But yeah, to me, not only was the signaled the beginning of the end for the Wii U, but I just wasn't left with a wow factor. Like if this conference had come first, I think I would be less harsh on it. But considering it came at after the day that we had previously, it came off sort of like it came off pretty small. And on top of that, the games that they did announce like Animal Crossing and Metroid and Zelda. I'm sorry, it felt like okay, those aren't really okay. Take Zelda out of there, but okay.
Come on.
But the ones where he has clones of himself, I'm sorry, I don't count those. But yeah, okay, fine. You know what? I'll accept those as part of the continuity because they are actually in. They are in the continuity.
I've got the Hyrule Historia you gave me, Malcolm, right here,
and I have the same book too. So.
it's in there. God damn it.
But Metroid Prime Hunters is not a Metroid game. I'm sorry.
Well, Metroid Prime Hunters is a Metroid game, and that came out on the original DS.
And Mario.
You're thinking of a different game. Federation.
Okay, thank you. And
Metroid Prime Hunters is real.
And Animal Crossing Mario Party is not an Animal Crossing game. I'm sorry. It just felt like...
Well, you got Happy Home Designer on 3DS. That looks fun.
Oh, God. But,
you got Fire Emblem, Malcolm.
Okay, Fire Emblem's cool, okay?
That's super goddamn cool.
It was super goddamn cool, but there wasn't enough super goddamn cool in this conference. That's all I'm saying.
You got Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which, by the way, also a very clever title.
Yeah, that's the best title you can get from that.
Paper Jam. It's like, yeah, all right, I'm into that.
So, but anyway, that's our opinion.
I thought it was
cool. Yeah, Joe liked it. I didn't. So,
and I really need to follow up on this Fire Emblem Rhythm thing.
Yeah, that's...
Someone help me out here. I tried googling it while we were doing this conference thing, and I came up with nothing conclusive. So somebody help me, please.
So that's the takeaway from this conference. I need to find out about this Fire.
Help me out. I'm super confused.
All right. Well, folks, we have one more conference, and that's Sony. What could they possibly do to face up against Microsoft and Nintendo?
Nothing.
Well, yeah. Well, what could they possibly do? Maybe they'll do an Uncharted Mario Party game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Folks, the Sony conference. And we're back, and we start with the Sony conference of 2015, which me and my wife, Joe, we went to a movie theater to see.
How was that? Before we get into the details, how was the theater experience?
That is going to be how I see it from now on.
Okay. Did you have to pay for it?
No, it was free.
Okay.
It was which I thought, like, okay, they're going to charge me when I get there, because, like, all you do is you go to the website, you make a reservation, and there's no credit card taken or anything. I booked two, one for me, one for my wife. They gave me a badge, and we got in line. line, and we went in. And we watched it, and it's kind of like the difference between watching WWE on your TV and watching WWE at a live event.
Okay.
Because not only did I get to see it, and in many cases I heard it a lot better because a lot of the crowd reactions at the E3 conference didn't come through on the streaming event. But I heard it loud and clear when I was there watching it live. But he also got to feel the emotions of everyone watching it, including for one announcement in particular. And it's no, Joe, it's not the one you're thinking of. So anyway. So, yeah, I highly recommend that anyone who has, like, when they do it next year, if there's a movie theater near you that's showing it, go see it. It's great. So, we begin E3, as we do with all Sony events, with a montage. Gotta be a montage. And the montage ended with a Lego T-Rex roaring and its jaw falling off. And I thought to myself, please don't let this be an analogy for this conference.
It was a weird thing to end on, because I don't think they mentioned that game at all.
No, they did mention a lot of the games in the conference. Like Godzilla was shown quite a bit in a few of these montages, and it was not even talked about. So yeah. But anyway,
cool.
We go to Sean. This is only my second conference. Can you tell, Leighton? CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment of America. And I write, wow, is he still getting used to conferences? You know, he's like speeding up a little bit. You can tell he's sweating like a pig. Oh, boy. But he's doing his best. We love Sean. He's intent, he says, on showing why PS4 is the place to play. Well, how could they possibly do that, I wonder? So he starts off the show by offering a trailer for a game that he mentions that people have been waiting to see for a long time. And I thought, oh, no way. So right off the bat, folks, we apologize as we ruined our own bingo game. As the free square we offered is now as we begin, Joe, of all things, with Last Guardian.
Yep, it was there. That was Last Guardian for sure.
Last Guardian, it looks just like how I remembered it, probably with better graphics. Like if I were to go back and watch that in original trailer, I could be like, oh, okay, that looks better, that looks better.
Yeah, at a glance, though, it seemed pretty similar, graphically speaking.
Oh, yeah. A lot of shock and awe in the audience when we saw it. We were like, oh, no fucking way.
I still don't believe it exists until it's out.
Yeah, well, you're seeing it, Joe. Jesus Christ.
I gotta see it on my hard drive or my disk drive.
By the way, if you guys ever want to know how my new dog Parker is like, just look at the bird dog in this game, because that's exactly how he acts. He's just
hanging off on cliffs and stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's just sitting attentively waiting for commands. And they do a fantastic job. This game is very clearly a Team Ico game. The two characters are working together to traverse several areas, including my favorite part where they're trying to cross this one area, but my wife calls it a griffin, but I don't see a beak on it, so I just call it a bird dog. Where the bird dog starts freaking out because there's this pinwheel thing that looks sort of like the Eye of Sauron. So he's scared to go near it, so the other character needs to push it off a cliff and then make it to safety. There was like several times where I thought that the boy was going to die, which would have been like a very grim way to continue.
Really grim start to E3.
Yeah, like with that first jump to Bird Dog, I was like, oh no. But he caught him each time. But the most heart-wrenching one was the one after the pinwheel, where he doesn't catch him with his mouth, and you're like, oh my god, he's dead. And then the tail goes up, and he catches the tail. And I'm like, nice. And I was really impressed with this demo. What did you think, Joe?
It really seems like they were basically in the same area as the original trailer.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to see something a little different, seeing as how they've been working on this for 1,000 years. But overall, I'm just happy that the game isn't super dead.
And I write here, the crowd that I was with, they were in complete shock, but they were very happy. And
like I've been. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and it announces at the end that it'll be out in 2016
on PS4. Because
obviously it's not coming out on PS3.
Like, no, we're sticking to PS3. Goddammit.
And I'm like, oh, holy shit, this was just the first game. Wow. Like, if anything, you would think they would end on this or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, speaking of beloved characters, Shuhei Yoshida comes out. And I write here, was Shuhei getting booed? Because, like, when I was watching him the stream, I heard, like, some...
No.
Okay.
But man, like, I've been super cynical about The Last Guardian, to say the least. But my heart swelled 3 sizes seeing the giant smile on Shuhei's face. Like, he was super happy and proud to have that game out again. I was like, oh, that's nice. Okay, you have melted the ice around there.
Oh, speaking of things that warmed my heart, he then introduces the visionary behind the game, Fumito Rita, who was actually in the crowd and got up and waved.
Yeah. Turns out, to expand on this a little bit, is that he's been working on The Last Guardian from a new studio that he formed, I guess, last year called Gen Design, with a bunch of people that worked at Team Ico and Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. But apparently he's been working at this smaller studio, or from this smaller studio, on The Last Guardian.
Yeah, and this is also a big deal because, not too long ago, we were saying there were rumors that they had a falling out. Like, there was, like, the director of the game left and what have you. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, because technically he doesn't work for Sony anymore like he used to. I remember like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or however many years ago, literal years ago, he left Sony, but was still working on the game on the contractor basis, which was one of the first signs of, well, this game's in trouble.
And one guy in the audience for the conference itself actually screamed out, "Love you!" to the guy as he was standing up. And that's one of the things I like. And I'll mention this later, but much like certain studio heads, certain guys from Sony are sort of like these beloved characters now. With Sony, I believe that it's true with the studios themselves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Team Ico and Naughty Dog got up there when quite a few different ones. It's like, it's sort of like seeing your favorite wrestler come out, where it's like, all right, I love this guy. And speaking of love this guy, that's how I now feel about this studio.
Then he hurts his neck, and he's not sure if he's going to come back or not.
Oh. No.
That's The Last Guardian for me.
Oh, come on.
It's like, that was amazing. That was an amazing build-up, but you got hurt at the wrong time, and now I don't know if you're going to be back or not. It's a perfect analogy, Malcolm.
You talk about bringing the room down, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that hurt. That brings you down further than the kid dying.
Well, yeah. Well,
okay.
The kid was happy, Joe. Did you not hear that part? He was happy. Big Bird is his friend. Can we talk about this new goddamn IP now? All right. So Shuhei introduces Herman Hulst, co-founder of Guerrilla Games. Now, Joe, we've been talking about how Guerrilla Games has been working on this new IP that is not Killzone.
Yeah, we'd heard things about a post-apocalyptic RPG, but what could it be?
Indeed. Well, it turns out to be, and this is directly from Guerrilla Games, a post-apocalyptic game.
Post?
Post.
Double post.
Which means the apocalypse came, and now humanity has rebuilt itself. And as they introduce a new game, and it opens up, and it looks like a tribal game of some kind, like Tribes or that other game that came out that was announced not too long ago. We seem to be on Earth, but something happened, and now most of the people are gone. Like, all the old buildings are there, and they talked about how people had like all this great tech and what have you. They also talk about 6 ruling tribes and how each one of them is different from the other. And then comes the part where me and Sandra looked at each other and just went, huh? When they say, this world was never ours. It was always shared. Us and the machines. And it opens up and you see these robot dinosaurs.
Yep.
And we're looking at what? And I was like, well, that was unexpected. From here, we go right into gameplay. And we have a nice, and by nice I mean strong, female protagonist. And she starts hunting for resources against these cyborg monsters that seem to work well with one another. There seems to be, you can tell, like, what each robot type has a certain job. Like, for instance, she takes out a scout who's, like, scanning the bushes she's hiding in, and she runs out and, like, stabs it. And much like in a tribal game, she apologizes to the beast that she just slain, even though it's just a robot.
Right.
She gets closer, and all of a sudden you see these gigantic T-Rex mecha T-Rex. And Tex-Mex, yes. And after it passes, she starts shooting off the vials off this one robotic beast, and all of a sudden the Tex-Mex attacks. And suddenly we're in Dark Souls, as we have this gigantic boss fight. And this is what I learned hearing from other people who got a closed doors review of it. There is, like, you saw her use multiple ways to take it down. Like, she slid under the beast, and we entered, like, bullet time, and she, like, fired several arrows into the undercarriage of the beast. Arrow time. There we go. Stop. No, anyway. And then she also shot off a piece of the T-Rex, grabbed it, and used its own gun to, like, destroy a good chunk of it. There was another where she, like, used several arrows that then tied them to the ground and used that to wrestle the beast down. down and then stab it when it was down. And in this behind the closed doors scene, they showed that same fight, except this time, instead of charging after him, they ran down to a river, planted all these wire traps, and then went back, led the beast to the traps, and as soon as the beast triggered the trap, there was a gigantic explosion that took out 3 of them. So it was pretty insane, and the game looks absolutely gorgeous. And we find out that it's called Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's a silly name, but
yeah, a little bit. And there's no. By the way, when I wrote it down in the notes, I used a semicolon, or excuse me, a colon. In the actual title right now, there is no colon.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep, just all together.
Those are just words. Those are just random words you threw into a phrase. Those don't mean anything together.
Well, maybe when you play the game, you experience the story. And another cool thing I found out, the whole game is open world, and if you see it, you can go to it.
Oh, God. Like, that's an exciting thing, but it's like, do we really have to hear that every single time someone introduces an open world game to us?
It's the future, Joe.
If you can see it, you can go there. Fine, let me discover that.
And there's no loading screens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that'll be interesting to see how well that holds up.
Mm-hmm. So, and this, to me, this was my most favorite new franchise that got announced.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I was excited at the prospect of an open world RPG from Guerrilla, and yeah, I like that they kind of, like, I heard post-apocalyptic, and I was like, I hope they put something interesting and like some interesting twist on that, because we've already got Fallout.
And boy, did they.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was seeing some of those mecha creatures, and I'm like, man, I hope they release action figures of those, man. So I love this trailer. I'm really pumped for the game, and the audience I was with, even my wife was like, holy shit, that looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
And then a new Hitman game is announced. Sadly, not based on Bret Hart.
None of these are ever going to be based on Bret Hart, sadly. But yeah, I like that trailer. The trailer was fun. I fucking love the song they put underneath it. And yeah, I think that's coming out in December sometime.
Yeah.
I forget what the date is. Did they show the date in that trailer?
No, not yet.
I know there's a date announcement, but I don't remember if it was in that trailer.
But I'm not sure if it's a reboot or a sequel, so.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because it's literally just called Hitman.
And next came one of my favorite parts, as we got introduced to Assad Kizilbash.
Yeah.
Who my wife suddenly made Snoop Dogg jokes about the entire time. Kizzled my business, like she kept saying. But yeah, that's an amazing name, Assad Kizilbash. And so he talks about it. He says that the beta for the Hitman will be exclusive to PS4 when pre-ordered, with 6 exclusive contracts.
Like, I wonder why there's a beta for a game that most people won't play multiplayer for. So
whatever, you get to play it. Hey, speaking of things, we go right back into Street Fighter V, which for all those people that are sick of seeing it, hey, this is you don't understand how big of a get this is for PlayStation.
Also, hey, look at that, it's Birdie and Cammy.
Hey,
there you go. Enjoy.
I was kind of surprised to see Birdie. Birdie is sort of like, oh really, Birdie? Okay.
Oh, that's the guy you're going with. Huh?
And his big thing is he likes eating and will incorporate that in his fighting style. So there you go. And Cammy is still Cammy. So anyway, the beta for this game, we find out, starts July 23rd and will be exclusive to PlayStation 4. I don't know why I have PlayStation 3 here, but it's PlayStation 4.
Nope, it's exclusive for PS3, but you'll have to buy it on PS4.
Indeed. Intros our next game that redefines the term scale. Gee, I wonder what that game could be. As Sean Murray of Hello Game comes out for No Man's Sky.
Also, you can't really redefine the word scale. That doesn't make sense.
Well, they were able to redefine the meaning of the word literally, so I suppose they could do the same thing.
You can redefine your perception of scale.
But anyway, Sean Murray comes out, and the first thing I say is that an X-Wing behind him? Because that looks very much like an X-Wing. And hey, guess what, Joe? We get more No Man's Sky gameplay.
Finally, I guess. I get the same fear all of a sudden I get the same bad feeling all of a sudden every time they show this as they got with Watch Dogs. It's like, can you just give us a date for that?
Yep. And just so that we are not left hanging, he tells us, hey, there's not going to be a release date announced here, but it's coming soon, I promise.
Yeah, apparently, to expand on this, they had, according to Murray speaking to IGN, he said that they had originally planned to reveal the game's release date, but the team decided to delay that announcement a bit. But when they do announce the date, apparently it will release simultaneously on PlayStation 4 and personal computers. So that game has been confirmed for PC as well.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine, as long as it's not on Xbox, I'll be fine with it. So anyway, it's a game full of choices, as you'll be, like, he leaves the hangar on his X-Wing, and he sees a firefight going on between two factions, and he can decide to join in and destroy and do whatever, or he can just go about his merry way. And this part was cool, and my wife loved this too. He gives us a taste on how truly big this game is, and to put it simply, it's about the size of the universe. Because he starts off, you see like maybe 15 dots, and he makes a point that like each one of those dots is a sun, and each one of those has
those
their
are
own
a solar system.
Yeah, they're their own planet and what have you. And he starts going back and expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding and and Jesus Christ, this is a big game.
Yeah, like there is an especially big bright dot, which is apparently the center of the universe or whatever, which he says that people will be racing towards or whatnot.
So it's like, which is very interesting. Like that's sort of the cool factor for me about this game is we are not sure. He keeps saying you want to go to the center of the universe, but I don't know why.
Right.
Like what's going to happen when a player finally gets to the center of the universe?
He's got.
He gets
to do whatever he wants to the game.
I mean, does that...
Like, whoops, space is lava now. What? Everyone's dead but me.
But I'm very curious to see what happens when someone does it. And from what I've heard from people playing this game, it's very much like Minecraft. Like when you start off, you have like a gun and maybe a weak spaceship.
Right.
And you just like mine stuff on the planet, and you can sell it and make money, and you can use it to get parts to improve your gun, to improve your ship, or to just like buy whatever. And you can do this on planet to planet to planet. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm still pumped for it. I just wish they'd announced the goddamn date.
Yeah, which apparently they have in mind. So hopefully it won't be too long before they reveal that. But the funny thing too is that you go from planet to planet claiming it, and it's like nobody's been on this planet before. But you have to go to a beacon to claim the planet. It's like, well, if no one's been here, who put this skin here? Where did this beacon come from? If I'm the first one here.
So anyway, we go from this to Kizzlebash 2, Electric Boogaloo. He introduces Media Molecule's new game.
That's right.
Which we saw introed, I think, forever ago at the PS4 announcement.
Did we?
Yeah, because, remember they showed, like, the two people dancing, and they used, like, the exact same models as this one.
No, okay. I completely blanked out on that, I guess. I completely forgot that.
And believe it or not, Joe, this is the game. And here's the thing. I don't know if you can call it a game.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like, move your controllers around and make a thing.
It's like, so we get Alex Evans of Media Molecule to introduce a game he calls Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And by dreams, it looks like movies. Because, none of them look like games, yeah.
Your mama's forehead's so big, she doesn't have dreams, she has movies.
Oh. I have to remember that one. Okay. Use the PS4 as a paintbrush as you essentially make characters out of Play-Doh. And but when they're in action, they legit look like it's stop motion animation, and it looks actually really impressive, especially like the hair physics and what have you. As they show an extended movie trailer where we see like all sorts of things, including like two polar bears playing with each other. You get to see,
which is super adorable.
It was, my God, and you get to see this like futuristic chase on like speeder bikes. You get to see this kitten beat up zombies with a hammer, and all the while row your boat gently down the stream is playing in the background. But it looks really cool. This will be something for a select few. Like, believe it or not, Fro, the guy I do the Let's Talk Ben podcast with, this is the game that actually made him decide to pick up a PS4.
Interesting.
Because he's a graphic designer, so he likes creating stuff. So he saw this and he's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. So yeah, like that's what I love about these Sony conferences. There's always something for everybody. So anyway, we go back to Kizzlebash 3, and he's
33 and a third.
Indeed. Thank you. I was looking for a joke one. A mystery in the wilderness game he talks about next. And what other game could it be but Firewatch? As it looks to have a really great story as you play a ranger whose only form of communication is this one female protagonist at the switchboard. As he goes through like this, I guess, the longest day of his career. And it's like a nice little mystery, and your relationship with this character can change. Like there's one where like I was looking at this trailer with the two voice actors. It was like, yeah, depending on the decisions you make and how you talk to me, Tammy, I could become a love interest, I could become a friend, or we could just have a strictly professional business relationship with one another. It all depends on you. So I'm like, okay. Plus, the story looks really interesting. It looks like a interesting mystery game too. Are you excited about this one at all, Joe?
Yeah, it looks really cool. Like I want to play Park Ranger game.
Never thought you'd say that either.
I want to play the Park Ranger game.
All right, so that was it for Kizzle Bash. But we get a nice little exchange as Adam Boyes comes out. He's like, yeah, this shit never got told.
He does that every year, and it's that's fine.
Cursing.
It's okay, settle down, Adam.
So,
Kiddies watch this too.
And he gets started talking on Destiny. And despite what we may think, Joe, people play the fuck out of this game still.
For reasons known not to us.
Well, it's fun. But anyway.
Is it though?
It can be.
With
the right few people, anything is fun. So we get the trailer for the next expansion, which we would have to pay for if we wanted, Joe. Destiny, the Taken King.
Okay, before we get into the details of what it is, what is the pricing exactly on this thing? Because I'm completely turned upside down. What is it? How does it work?
Well, the pricing on the other expansion packs were like $34.99. So
sure, but that made sense. Like, here's the expansion pass or whatever that includes the 2 DLCs and whatever. They're $20 each if you want separate. Blah blah blah. I understood that. But how does the Taken King work if I want to buy it?
I imagine it'd be $34.99.
Ew.
There's a lot of shit in it.
All right, what's in there?
All right, so you get a whole new story as Aurochs, the Taken King, who wants
expanding on the celebrated story.
Indeed, who wants revenge for you slaying his child in the very first DLC. And you also get new enemies, new bosses, and new powers as you gain more skill trees. As you get like this cool bow and arrow energy weapon for the hunter, a fire beam from the warlock, and a void hammer for the titan that gets to do all sorts of neat stuff. And this is coming out on September 15th, 2015. New gear, multiplayer maps, a strike that's exclusive for the PlayStation, as we apparently have some nice little deal going on with Bungie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a pretty strong relationship between Bungie and PlayStation since the reveal of Destiny. So, yeah, of course.
All right, so we go from that to more Assassin's Creed Syndicate, yay, as we focus on the female assassin, Evie Fry, who I guess is the more polished of the two assassins.
Yeah, I guess she's the older twin?
Yeah, by like a few seconds, but yeah, the older.
However it is, twins work.
Yeah, well, one has to come out first, usually, so.
Nuh-uh.
Well, C-sections, I guess, but anyway. So she is a badass. She destroys this group of people, including this nice one where she throws this guy on this table and gets crushed. Like, oh, God. And Boys comes back to tell us that we'll be getting exclusive missions for being PlayStation owners. So nice.
It feels like they flip-flop on Assassin's Creed. Like, last year it was Microsoft getting exclusive things, and then for Black Flag it was PlayStation. And then it seems like they just kind of go back.
Yeah. Or maybe they notice, hey, one is outselling the other. So. And then we get introed to a entry from Square Enix, and whatever could it be?
Nothing interesting.
Yeah, it is World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah! Just as I said, nothing.
What the world was waiting for, Joe.
That was some exaggerated chibis.
Yeah, for a split second, when the chibis went into like normal size, I thought it was like a Kingdom Hearts spinoff. But no, it's just like you literally use different characters and monsters from different Final Fantasies to play the game.
Come to think of it, that might have been the only Vita game announced at that time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Cloud is pretty much the Hulk Hogan of Final Fantasy at this point. Because if you want to show off that like different characters from Final Fantasy are going to be in it, you show Cloud first. You're like, oh, okay, I know him.
He's like Hulk Hogan in that he was super exciting when you first met him, and then years later you're like, all right, can we get rid of this guy?
No, that makes no sense.
Sure it does.
No, it didn't make sense.
You said it, not me.
I said that he was
you
Hogan
said it. You
because
said
he was the most recognizable twisting around.
Then he shows up on the competition. He shows up in a couple of Namco games for no reason. Then he comes back
and takes that company to the top.
Then he comes back
and they beat Sony for like 82 weeks. Yeah, no. But anyway, so you're going to be able to play World of Final Fantasy on PS4 and Vita 2016. So there were groans for this one. It's like, oh, I can't believe they're giving us this. Then Adam Boyes comes back, and everyone in the theater assumed this was going to be it for anything Final Fantasy related.
Or related even.
Yep. And then this green streams of light appear on those giganto Titantrons that they have. And I'm like, wow, that green light sure looks familiar.
Green light.
Yeah.
Does like look familiar. It's green.
It's live stream, but like the live stream of a certain game I used to play. But anyway, Boys then says many years ago, Square released a groundbreaking title that went on to become one of the most beloved and cherished franchises in video game history.
The Bouncer on PlayStation.
Yes, the Bouncer. So my eyes widen a bit.
Because man, does Malcolm enjoy the Bouncer?
Yeah, really does. It was a good game. By popular demand, we have a very special treat for you. And me and my wife knew what Boys was talking about, but we didn't want to believe it because this was something we have been talking about forever. Both me and Sandra and me on this show with you guys. In fact, I wrote an article about this. So music starts playing, and immediately it makes me think of this game, but still, I don't want to believe it, Joe. Then the trailer starts to play, and me and my wife notice more and more landmarks. Like Sandra points out the Mog slide, and I tell her, no, it's too early. This could be something disappointing. or it'll end up not being what it is. Like it'll be like a mobile game or some shit. And then the whole time the narrator is giving this speech, and at first you think it's about the game, but no, it's talking about the fans who waited this long for the game. And
waiting for Advent Children too.
And then he says that it's time for a reunion. And he says that, some people will be excited by this, other people will be afraid of it, which is very true, by the way, knowing fans. But let's just be happy that this reunion is happening. That's what he says.
That's a really weird way to put it.
Yeah, I was like, that's me paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. You're like, just be happy this is happening. God damn it.
That seems like you're setting people up for disappointment.
He just drops the script and is like, fucking A, you fucking people. We give you what you want. But anyway, then we see Barrett and Cloud walk into frame. And oh my God, it's me and Sandra and the whole theater I was at start to mark the fuck out. Like I'm getting goosebumps talking about it even now. There are people, as they announce it, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is that is not the official title. That's just tentatively what it is.
Yeah, but they're remaking the sequel to Crisis Core.
Yeah, this is what I love. Like first they show the logo to Final Fantasy VII, and in case you could not get it through your skull, it then threw remake like in bold letters in there, and the crowd erupts. It cuts to, and this is the first time I was actually for this. It then cuts back to the conference and starts showing the audience, and the way these people were looking, it was like the streak just got ended again. Like there was guys with their hands up to their heads, just staring in disbelief, and they were just in complete shock. But other people they're like standing and applauding because this is something we've wanted for 18 fucking years, Joe. And I know you're gonna shit all over. And I know you're gonna shit all over this.
Wait a minute, you've been wanting a remake for 18 years, Malcolm? Like immediately after you played it, you're like, I wish they would remake this.
Well, no, if you want to know, if you want to know when I started thinking I wanted a remake of it, I would say Final Fantasy VIII. Like
really?
Yeah, like if you look at Final Fantasy VIII to 7, there was a tremendous graphical improvement between the two games. Like in 7, the characters only looked somewhat realistic during fight scenes, but the rest of the game they were like super deformed.
Man, were they?
And they were. And but when you went to 8, you saw Squall, and they all looked like how they were not only fighting but throughout the rest of the game. It looked super realistic. And that's when I first had the thought, it's a shame that 7 couldn't get the same treatment. And then as graphics just got better and better and better, 7 is just one of my favorite games of all time, and I wanted that for it too. Now, we're already getting fucking people hating on this, of course. Joe's sitting right across from me. Well, he's
oh man. I mean, the negative thing that I have to say about it is that
let's get it out of the way.
All right. So this game's not going to come out until after Kingdom Hearts, which isn't going to come out until after Final Fantasy 15, which isn't even going to come out in 2015. This game's going to come out in like 2017 at the early.
2017 at the early. I agree with you there. Which 2017, by the way, is the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy.
I was about to say the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy 7. Like, oh, okay.
Well, Final Fantasy. I think it's just Final Fantasy in general.
Yeah. 87.
Yeah, and I agree with you because the best thing we have going for us is we don't know when they started with this.
Well, I think
they could. I think. Go ahead.
Well, I think when Square Enix did their press conference and they showed it again, they're like, "Yep, like all we have is that we're working on the game." That sounded more like now that we know that we're gonna do it, we're gonna finally start working on it. It's like okay.
Yeah, like best case scenario, as soon as they heard the reaction at the PlayStation 3 tech demo they did, maybe that's when like, okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
and even that was Peter.
Yeah, but as they pointed out, like, because they have gone on record and say it's not going to happen. Once again, never believe in never. But for all I know, they said that just so that we weren't expecting it. Because imagine if they pulled another Versus 13 and announced it, and it just went on forever. Because essentially, from the sounds of it, this is not a reboot. This is a remake. So they are rebuilding this game from the ground up.
Right. And funnily enough, Square Enix's stocks jumped up immediately.
Yeah.
After announcing the game. Obviously they trade in Japan, so those markets are open, even though the markets here were closed at the time of the announcement. But apparently it jumped up, according to Bloomberg Business here, I've got this pulled up, jumped to the highest level in more than 6 years. Apparently it surged almost 3% to about 3,000 yen per share. So that's pretty great.
Indeed. I mean, it's a game that everyone wanted. Just some complaints that I've heard so far. Like, the number one, and I give these guys a gigantic middle finger, is like, oh, just what PlayStation is so unimaginative, it needs to do another HD remastered of a previous game. Hey, fuckface, this isn't like Last of Us. This is pretty much a brand new game with the amount of work they have to put onto it. This is like a legit case of HD remaster, even though it's not just, this is not.
No, it's not a remaster. It is a proper remake.
So.
And also there's an emotional weight to it that other games don't have.
Yeah, like even Joe has to acknowledge that. Like people were like,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
People were crying about this.
Even though I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII again on my Vita a couple years ago, and I was like, a little rough. So hopefully this remake smooths out something, not just the graphical edge.
Yeah, according to Square, we'll be hearing more about it in winter. Probably, I would say, the PlayStation experience that they do that year.
Because PlayStation does have the console, well, not the exclusive, but it will be first on PlayStation.
Indeed, I was going to say that. Yeah, this will be first on PlayStation. Even though it's timed, this is a huge get, and this just made this conference all the more memorable.
Yeah, so expect it in 2017, and then on Xbox in 2018 or something. I don't know. Pro tip for that game, for anybody coming to that game fresh, by the way, be sure to level Ares up immediately. Get her limit break early. That way you can just sail through the game.
So Digital Devolver went next, and Digital Devolver, I felt bad for two people right now. I felt bad for Digital Devolver for having to follow that, because you can actually hear the audience still recouping from this announcement while Adam Boyce is talking, because this Sony conference was rapid fire. They're like, here's this, all right, now, da-da-da, here's this, da-da-da, here's this. They're like, which, once it made the Nintendo conference feel like it was in slow motion in comparison, but cause they just had, like, game after game after game after game after game, and it was like, and it was coming right at us the entire time, so I felt bad for Devolver Digital, because they had to follow this gigantic announcement.
Yeah. In a vacuum, though, they had some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and I also feel bad for the Final Fantasy World game that was announced too, because that could be a really fun game, but it's going to be forever known as the fake out game, the game that made us think, that made us groan, and then they're like, no, here's Final Fantasy VII. But anyway.
And also speaking of Final Fantasy VII, they announced that PC port, because they're still porting the PC version of the original game to PlayStation 4 and iOS. Like, it was supposed to come to PlayStation 4 this summer, but they pushed it to the winter, and it's coming to iOS in the summer.
Awesome. And so they show off some games here, as we see Rowan, which is a slasher game. Eater, which reminds me of Diablo, which is like a dungeon explorer type deal. Mother Russia Bleeds, which looks like the most freakish beat 'em up that I've ever seen. And Crossing Souls, that I have no idea what that's about.
Right.
But it looks like a fun lineup. I agree with Joe.
Yeah. They, Devolver Digital has published a lot of really cool stuff in past years. So, I'm always happy to see them have a presence on PlayStation.
So then Adam Boyce comes back, and he starts talking about how people have voiced their opinions about certain things, such as Kickstarter, which was used to get funding for games like Octodad, Broken Age, and Amplitude. And Sony heard about this young upcoming developer who wanted to bring a property on, and he decided, hey, why not announce it on stage tonight, even though it's his thing. Joe.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3.
No, what are you talking about?
It's fucking Shenmue 3. And I have the...
Say
that again?
Like, that game doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
Well, it will.
What?
As of right now, because by the way, I have a story to tell. Because in the RK, by the way, who wrote in and even he admitted as a joke predicted Shenmue.
Everybody does that every year,
but not this time, as he was right. As Shenmue 3 is announced, and in the movie theater I was in, I mean, I don't need to imagine what RK's reaction was, because this dude right behind me like shot up to his feet. And just screamed out, "Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god!" Like, he was shouting the whole conference. It's like, "You're gonna be a millionaire. You hear me? You're gonna be a millionaire." It's like,
oh man! All right, so like basically the first half of this conference was it was fan fiction, Malcolm.
That is. I was actually gonna say that this is like with Shenmue 3. This conference officially became fan fiction.
Yeah, basically the fan fiction that's written every year. Okay, so we're gonna get Last Guardian, then Final Fantasy VII's gonna come, and then Shenmue 3. It's like, all right, so, like, you've had enough to drink, sir. We'll take that from you. But here it is, all of it. Here's all of it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what else do you say to that? And
I don't know.
And then they have people are stunned. Like you, Joe. They're like, what? This is really getting announced?
And technically, I opened up RK's email from last time. He predicted an HD collection, which definitely is not happening because on the FAQ on the bottom of the page, the frequently asked questions, the people ask like, what's the deal with Sega and all this? Because people expected that Sega to be the one doing something like this, but Sega apparently the affiliation with Sega is that Sega has officially given us the rights to use the Shenmue 3 license. And then after that, are there plans for the HD versions of Shenmue 1 and 2? The property rights for Shenmue 1 and 2 belong to Sega, so we are not in a position to comment on that.
Well,
you're gonna have to be happy with Shenmue fucking 3 coming out of nowhere.
Once again, never believe in never, because Sega, I'm sure, wouldn't mind the money, and if Sony is like, tell you what, we'll give you $1 million, you let us do a remastered version. All right. And so it goes up on Kickstarter. It was a no-brainer. It was going to meet its goal even at $2 million. It reached $2 million in 9 hours.
Okay.
It is currently sitting at $3.3 million with 28 days left to go.
Goodness gracious.
And Sony would later admit that it used Kickstarter more as a litmus test to see if people cared, and Jesus fucking Christ, did people care?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that logic, because for as much as people say they care about Shenmue 3, people didn't seem to care about Shenmue 1 and 2 in terms of buying the games, which is why this took so long to happen. Mm-hmm. So I understand them saying, let's see if people actually do care.
But yeah, this was so surreal. Like
it was really fucking.
My God. And so Adam Boyes, Sony won. I'm sorry, but they dropped so many huge bombs this one. My God, and it keeps coming. And so then we go to Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, hold on again though. Estimated delivery on the game though. If you pledge the minimum to get the game on Kickstarter is $29. Estimated delivery December 2017.
2017. Okay.
December 2017.
So 2017. So 2017 is going to be a good year, Joe, is what you're telling me.
Well, I mean, the thing about Kickstarter games is that they tend to go a little bit past their estimated delivery dates.
Just a little bit. Yep.
So, I mean, 2018, realistically?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's true, but that's when it's usually just an indie guy doing it by himself. But when you got Sony saying, hurry the fucking shit up, man. Come on.
Suppose. But, I mean, it's just funny to see this game out. Like, obviously, Sony, if Sony just used it as a litmus test, I guess they're backing the majority of the development of the game. But it's just funny to see the game on Kickstarter when the original game cost $100 million on Dreamcast in the 90s. So it's funny to see the game have a $2 million Kickstarter. Like, okay, this is a very strange time in the industry.
Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering what Sony got out of it, if you go to the Kickstarter page and look at the rewards, you'll notice that there's no mention of an Xbox One version of this game.
It will be on PC, though.
Yep. PC is like, okay, whatever, go for it. Right, it's like, as long as it's not on Xbox, we're fine with it, all right?
It's funny, though, because the second game was an Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. Like the game just doesn't exist on the same console families. Like the original game, obviously on Dreamcast, and then Xbox, and now PlayStation. Like what?
So we parlay into Batman Arkham Knight, where we find out that this is actually the first 4 minutes of the game that we saw, Joe. Or did you close your eyes and run out?
I did not, because just the same, I did not care for them showing it. I was like, "What? Come on, the game is out in a week. Do you really have to show the first 4 minutes of it?"
They really did. As spoilers, we see Joker getting cremated.
It's like, come on, man.
And that is how the game begins. You will see Joker getting burned, not alive, but with a smile on his face. Like Big Bird had just called and said he was his friend. And then we get a sort of a first-person view of a police officer, and we get to see what the Joker toxin is like. Excuse me, the Scarecrow toxin. Too many toxins in this game. I'm sorry. As we see him wake up to this nightmarish world and open fire on what I believe will be innocent people. And by the way, what kind of gun does he have? He was shooting 17 bullets.
I don't know.
But he opens fire, and then it just cuts, and we see Batman and Arkham Knight coming. And once again, PS4 gets exclusive Scarecrow missions. And after the whole Batman stuff, we got Andrew House, everyone's favorite straight guy, or straight man, is in comedy.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's a weird thing to call out.
Well, I assume there's quite a few straight men over there if you're meaning like that. I don't know. Anyway, he usually comes out for the factual stuff, and this was no different. And this was kind of like the drop of the heavy hits, I would say, in this conference, which was fine. They made a huge wave, and they just rode it down to the end there.
Yeah.
So then we went into Morpheus talk. Now, Joe, last week, what did we predict? 10, 15 minutes of Morpheus talk?
Yeah, there was barely any.
There was precisely 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Which is weird, because apparently, on the show floor during the week, apparently there was a heavy presence of it on the show floor. People were taking appointments with a bunch of games there, but weird that there just wasn't anything to show on the stage.
I'm guessing that they didn't want to risk it. They didn't want to, how people picked on Microsoft when they started showing hardware. Or I guess they were like, no, we're the games machine for these conferences. We're going to talk about games.
Yeah. Although, I don't know. I think maybe they were just kind of afraid of how to show Morpheus in a positive way, being a VR thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Although I guess Microsoft figured it out for their thing, so.
Yeah, and also, who knows how long Morpheus is from being released. They don't want to give 20 minutes of something that's going to another 3 years,
Well, I don't know if it came out of E3 or if it was slightly before, but I was pretty sure they said early 2016, or the first half of 2016.
Well, maybe they're saving it for the experience, I don't know.
For quote-unquote several $100s.
So, House comes out, he talks about the Morpheus as it's designed for the PS4, and shows off some games, including Eve Valkyrie and The Deep, which is that game that I'm never going to play about a shark attacking you in a cage. So.
Why would you want to play that? Who would want to play that?
Exactly. It was you don't have nightmares? Jeez. Says the Morpheus will be an experience to play with your friends and family, and I write in my notes, not if it's $300 per headset. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's 4 people. We got $1,200. That's fine. And he also introduces a game called Riggs, also by Guerrilla, which is sort of like an arena battle game, which I think they want to see at EVO and whatever gaming tournaments all over the place. And let's see, he doesn't introduce it. It's actually just playing in the background, and we see the title screen, but he never actually calls it out. We see some footage from a game called World War Tunes and another game called Wayward Sky, and we're done. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and Morpheus is out of here.
Right, and like I said, they revealed a couple of different VR projects on the show floor. I think Harmonix announced a thing that they're doing for Project Morpheus, a music game of some sort. Because of course, what else would they do?
Well, they're not doing anything for Kinect, that's for sure.
No, they're not. And a bunch of what seemed like smaller projects as well. Like you said, Wayward Sky, something called Headmaster, which seems just like a kind of like a soccer training thing, where you just kind of, I guess, you head goals with your head or whatever. Things like.
I think that was also on there, but they never showed a title for it, which is why I don't have it here. But yeah, I saw footage of just a ball flying into the net in first-person mode. So
yeah, something called Super Hypercube in all caps. Yeah.
Sure is hyper. Anyway, he also then talks about how awesome Spotify is, as he's mentioned about 5 million have downloaded it on their PS4. Okay, that's significant. That's like a quarter.
People do like their Spotify.
Mm-hmm. And then he talks about something that I'm shocked is not getting talked about more, but then again, if we follow the dollar, I'm sure we'll see Comcast and various other TV companies have ownership there. But he talks about PlayStation View, and they talk about expanding to Los Angeles and San Francisco, showing some love to California. And then in July, they are going to allow you to subscribe to channels a la carte. So you, instead of just bundling and spending a whole bunch of money for channels you don't want, you just pick the channels you want. So if all I watch is USA for Monday Night Raw, I could just subscribe to USA, and that's it.
That's always been the dream.
That has been and it's happening, and no one is talking about it because everyone's talking about playing Minecraft with a VR helmet, for Christ's sake. Oh man! And they also talk about a little bit how PlayStation Plus members will get a discounted rate, so that's pretty cool.
Right. Like the only thing like keeping that from I guess exploding in a bigger way is just that you do have to buy a $400 console, which like that's great for everybody who does already have the PS4 or is planning to get one, but for other people who just don't care about video games, that's a pretty big barrier.
Hey, 20 million people have it.
But I mean, it's not like you could get just like some regular dude or whatever who doesn't care about video games to like. Why would I do that when I could just buy a Sling box or something for a fraction of the price?
Yeah, and not to mention that it's out in very select areas so far. Like Joe can do it, so
that probably is. That's another barrier also.
Right, so you got to let us know what those rates are for the a la carte, because if it's like $1 a channel, that's awesome.
I doubt it's gonna be that. I mean, like obviously HBO can get away with like $15 a month, or HBO. What's the other one called? HBO Now. That's their a la carte option.
Yeah, HBO Now is just you subscribe to the channel,
right? And it's basically getting HBO. There's that. So I don't know, probably like $6 or $7 a month, probably for each channel. I would assume. Like I wouldn't pay more than $7 a month for basic cable channels like USA.
Well, they have to give some kind of discount. We'll find. We'll see. Ace Reporter Joe will let us know here. And then he tells us about something, and this is kind of a bombshell, depending on how you view Call of Duty, and it's nowadays. But Call of Duty has jumped ship, Joe.
It's exclusive to PlayStation 4.
Indeed, no more. Well, the guy from Activision came out wearing a PS4 shirt, and Phil Spencer was like, "Why?" And then hit him with a chair and spray painted PS4 on the back. Oh. It finally came true. But no, you can still buy it on 360. But if you want to get all the new stuff, you want to be on PS4 because there is now a new partnership with Activision. Yes, Call of Duty. The home is no longer Xbox, people. It's PS4,
which is weird.
I know it's going to be weird for a little while.
Well, I mean, it feels a few years too late.
Well, it is if you look at the sales figures.
like around the time of like Black Ops 2, which came out a few years ago. Like that seems like that was like the sales peak of Call of Duty as a series. Like if they could have done it a couple years before that, that'd have been like it's not. I'm not saying it's insignificant, but it would have been a much bigger deal even just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not going to be. It's not as monetarily valuable as it was back in the day. Like you're saying, I completely agree. But just from a hype and excitement standpoint, this is a big deal. I mean, this is Activision saying, "Yep, Xbox sure isn't the number one console anymore. You guys are."
Yeah. I mean, I just never cared for that agreement, just like when it was Xbox doing it. I don't magically care for it now that they're doing it on PlayStation. Like, I always thought it was annoying that people, like, the annoying part of it is not just that you have to wait if you're on the wrong console, so to speak, but the fact that they just don't tell you when you can expect that stuff to show up on the other console.
Yeah, well, I magically care about it. This is the greatest day ever. Suck it, Xbox.
Does that mean you're pre-ordering the Hardened Edition when it comes out this fall?
I'll probably Redbox it. But anyway, it'll go on sale. Yeah. Anyway, Mark Lamia of Activision comes out and he introduces us Lamia, thank you. Introduces us to the new co-op campaign mode in which you and a friend can team up and take on the story mission together, which, that's cool. And they show off a trailer, and right off the bat, I'm asking, and this is Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the full title, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you sure this isn't Advanced Warfare 2?
I know, it is more Advanced Warfare because it's like it actually takes place further in the future than
Oh,
Advanced
God.
Warfare does.
So Advanced Warfare is going to be even farther in the future. You'd have to think.
Yeah, it's weird that the Black Ops saga has spanned like a century of whatever. Because like the first game took place like I think Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden for Black Ops 2, it's like 2016 or whatever. And then now it's like 2060 something. It's like what? With these 50-year leaps in these Black Ops games.
Now, basically, American soldiers are superheroes now in Call of Duty because they're just wall running along. They can fire bees at people apparently, and they can use the Force too. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, like go back and see that. There's like he like holds out his palm like he's using the Force, and all of a sudden, and it makes people vomit for some reason. It was
all right.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Go check it out. Using the Force to make people vomit. I mean, it was very weird, but yeah, it's Call of Duty. I mean, there's not much else to say on this one other than it's cool. Then we get David Badahar, and basically comes out to once again reaffirm that essentially we're the new Microsoft, as we are like the number one place. We're going to have all the maps and DLC first. It's all going to be first on PS4.
Yeah,
it's like essentially 360 held that over our heads for years, and then Shuhei just gave him the finger and just rewrote the book on how to be first. So then he shows us the most badass multiplayer trailer I've ever seen. Like it was beautiful in that how much it truly is. It truly shows what the multiplayer experience is like. Like you're doing good and then you're shot in the head, and then you're doing good and you're doing good, you're shot in the head, and then someone else. It's like it was great, and I have to tell you, I respect fantastic multiplayer people. Like because I suck at multiplayer shooting games. Like, Destiny proved that to me without a shadow of a doubt. So, but anyway, Andrew
Press X to pay
yeah. Andrew comes back once again, reiterating PS4 will get all map packs first, and you can also be the first to play a multiplayer beta that starts in August. And then we get another montage of various games that we're getting, of course, because that's what plays. Speaking of rewriting the book, montages that's being written by Sony right now. Then we go to Star Wars, everyone's favorite, Joe.
Yep.
Sean Layton comes back and introduces John Biaki, and he's here to talk for Disney Infinity. And Joe, God bless this guy.
He seems so excited for
Disney
Infinity.
He is so excited about Disney Infinity. Because you're looking at him, like me and my wife were discussing it, I think he felt so out of place. So it's like, he's seeing like robot dinosaurs being hunted by tribesmen. He's seeing Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy. He's like, and probably was like going to shoot, and he's like, no one's going to care about this. This is just kid stuff. And he was like, no, just go out there and sell it. Everything will be fine. So he is reeling. I've never heard anyone so excited for a video game. Like, probably he was more excited about this Disney Infinity than freaking Final Fantasy. I was about Final Fantasy 7. It was incredible, but he's really pushing it, and I think he is winning the crowd over. It was like, wow, this guy really likes this game.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, God bless him. And I even wrote it right here. God bless him. He talks about Disney Infinity on Star Wars, which is what your kids are going to be playing to get hyped for the movie. He talks about 2 play sets, including Twilight of the Republic, which will focus on the Clone Wars, and Rise of the Empire, which focuses on the good part of Star Wars. He talks about how PS4 is going to get an exclusive limited edition pack, which will get you not only Twilight of the Republic, but Rise of the Empire and characters as well. It looked like it was Luke and Leia in there. Mm-hmm. And, this is key, Joe, you will get Boba Fett 1 month before any other platform.
What does that even mean, since you can use them on any platform anyway? Is
that true?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Boba Fett is only going to be available on this limited edition set, like the Hulk was last year.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I see Hulk figures all over Best Buy.
Well, you do now.
I was like,
but when it first came out, no, fuck you, dude. Get it on PS4. I write down this guy should work on QVC. Just how the way he was talking about, like, not only do you get the Rise of the Empire set, not only do you get Twilight of the Republic, but if you act now, we will give you Boba Fett. And it's like, oh, it was great. But anyway, this all launches this fall. And hey, more Battlefront stuff. Kids love the Battlefront. Patrick Bach from DICE comes out, and he talks about like several types of battles you'll be able to play. Because this was good news for me, because I found out that there was in fact going to be a single player to Battlefront.
Oh.
Yeah, because I thought it was just multiplayer, and if you wanted, then fuck you. But no, you can play alone or online or with a friend, because you don't have friends online, Joe. That's important. And for the battles, they're like he talks about the modes. Like there are battles where you and a friend go head to head and are supported by a team of AIs. Hero battles where you're each an iconic character. Trials, which teaches you to master certain techniques. And survival, where they should basically just call it fucked, because it's like you and a friend are like stranded on this opposing team infested area, and you're just fighting wave after wave after wave of enemies, which is what the trailer there was. And by the way, the trailer is just this game is crazy, Joe. It is absolutely craziness, because it looks like I'm watching the movie. It's really good. But yeah, you solo play, folks. So if that was a deal breaker for any of you, but you really liked what you saw, don't worry. You don't need to go online to play this game.
Even that's where it's going to be better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So don't worry, Lee. I'm with you when this game comes out. It's going to be great. Sean Layton then says he has one last game to show us that needs no introduction whatsoever.
Persona 5.
Indeed. If only. It would have been nice to see it there. But I'm guessing Tokyo Game Show. But no, we're going to have to make do with Uncharted 4, which we actually saw a very key part of the story in this demo, Joe. As apparently the story of Nathan Drake here in Uncharted 4 is his mission is to find out the secrets to making butter. Because at the start of this demo, he just stands there and looks at a guy who's churning butter on the street for a good 5 minutes. So impressive game. That's going to be out. No, I'm just kidding. Technical difficulties, and I felt so bad for him because like game goes into action and the guy can't move.
The demos for that game has weird technical difficulties. Remember last time he just fell through?
He fell. Yes. Oh man, well, it sure is a game in development, folks. What can you say? So the game, they had to restart it. We had to re-see the intro, but we got to see the game in action. Boy, oh boy, Joe. I was not prepared for how big Naughty Dog could make the world now that it was on PS4, because it's damn near an open world sandbox game. Look like.
How do you figure that?
All right, so they do they're going all over the city, which is a huge map. Then they jump. There comes a part where they actually go into vehicles, which is a first for this series, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And then he proceeds to drive this Jeep all over town. And here's the crazy part. There are twists and turns all over the place. So there's more than one route. So it's a gigantic map.
Well, I mean, if you're chasing a dude, or running away, were they running or chasing? I forget.
They were chasing. They were trying to get to a tower. I'm guessing it was his brother, but somebody was there that was of importance to them. And they get over there, and then he sees the guy that they're looking for being chased by this convoy, and now they're chasing them, trying to find them, and it just ends on a cliffhanger with Drake using his new weapon, the grappling hook, because he's Spider-Man now, or Batman.
Yeah, because if you're just chasing someone, you just need a few branching paths or whatever if you want, because all the dialogue seemed pretty heavily scripted. I don't think they scripted dialogue for every potential freaking path you could take.
Maybe. I guess we'll have to check it out. But you got to admit, it's a much bigger than the previous maps for an Uncharted game.
Oh, yeah.
So and it looks great. I mean, I think we already know it's going to be a great game. It's definitely going to be, I would say, if it's lower than the third seed in our tournament for that year, I'll be shocked.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, indeed. Who does know, Joe? 2016, it's going to be pretty incredible. I mean, it's going to go up, it's going to have stiff competition in 2016. Because don't forget, if it does, 2016, that would mean that Last Guardian's going to be out. So there's quite I would have to...
Well, that's got to get carried away.
Well, that's it. Oh, by the way, I have to re-ask you the game again. Because remember, it's a running gag we do on the show, like what comes out first in what order.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, we've been getting updates, so it's not as crazy as it was before.
Well, we'll see. We'll say that for another time.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for the Sony conference. Really quick, Joe, who do you think won this year?
I did, because I own all these machines that all these cool games are coming to.
In a sense, Joe, I completely completely agree with you. Because this was, I don't think, with the exception of Nintendo, but you're biased. But
And you're not?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I am completely objective and fair, which is why Sony wins because they released all my favorite games.
Oh god.
But no, I think Sony had first of all, I just want to say that Microsoft had a fantastic console. I thought they did a good job. In fact, I was like, it's over. I actually said to my wife, it's over. Microsoft won this year as soon as they announced backwards compatibility. However, Sony, I think, was the one that you left and your heart was like pounding. At least, maybe not you, Joe, but everyone else who I saw, everyone had at least one holy fucking shit reaction to something that was announced there, if not everything. Like freaking at Shenmue 3, The Last Guardian, the Final Fantasy remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake, they're Uncharted, No Man's Sky is gigantic, and I really want to play Horizon. I'm shocked how much I'm ready to have Verizon right now, or Horizon, not Verizon, never Verizon. Don't you worry, folks. But yeah, I think I think it's close, but I definitely think Sony pulled it out this year.
Well, I mean, as far as just the sheer weight of what they showed, I think Sony had the bigger show. But as far as things that you'll actually see within the next calendar year, which is kind of what people watch E3 for, outside of us, but people like retailers for their sake, I would say that it is definitely Microsoft's show.
Like how so? I don't know.
Because because all the cool shit that they showed isn't going to happen for a while that Sony showed.
Well, not,
like Last Guardian just got a vague 2016.
Yeah, but that's still 2016.
But let's kind of try to be a little reserved here, just because the game's already taken 800 years to fucking be developed in the first place.
True, but they never gave a window at all. They just said coming soon.
But it's been out. It's been in development forever. It should have been out twice by now. You could have made that game twice at a different studio.
Well, no, we couldn't have made it twice. You and I could not.
4 Uncharted games will be out before that game came out.
And
The Last of Us.
Okay, 3 Uncharted games. You're not counting Golden Abyss, are you?
Well, no, I'm not.
Okay.
But Uncharted 4 will be out before that for sure.
Well, Uncharted 4 is going to come out holiday season, I bet you.
No, they moved it to spring 2016.
Oh yeah, they said March 8th or something, right?
Spring is always
spring. Okay.
But that's coming out in a vague 2016. Final Fantasy 7 that remake is going to come out after Kingdom Hearts, which is going to take 800 years to come out anyway.
Well, we don't know that. I would argue that Kingdom Hearts is coming out last. That's my personal opinion.
And then Shenmue on Kickstarter, they're like December 2017. It's like, oh, well, okay. This is all cool stuff, but we're not going to see any of it for a long time.
Well, yeah, we're going to see most of it 2016.
We're going to see, The Last Guardian is going to be at least one more E3.
At least one more E3? No, I don't. Well, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. I don't know. I mean, out of the games they showed here, let's see here. We're going to leave out Arkham Knight here.
Both Nintendo and Microsoft have killer holiday, holidays and falls lined up for 2015. And
all right,
nothing.
I'll give you the holiday season. So unless they announce something in the immediate future, I could see No Man's Sky coming out the holiday season.
Yeah, part of why I was excited for Sony's show this year is because I was like, okay, maybe they'll announce something for fall, because right now they've got Until Dawn for the summer
and Godzilla,
and that's pretty much it. The Uncharted collection or whatever in October.
Well, let's see. They got Last Guardian. That's 2016. They've got Horizon. Didn't have anything.
Right.
It had some, but not a release date. Hitman is coming out 2016. See, Street Fighter will probably be out 2016.
Yeah, I think they said 20.
Yeah. So there you go. There's an exclusive. Dreams will probably be 2016.
The PS4 is gonna have an amazing 2016, but
yeah, I think that's the point. I mean, I think they realized that their holiday was lacking, so they just accentuated the positive and just showed nothing but what's coming in 2016. Sort of like jingling the keys away from the poop. So let's see. Devolver Digital's got a few things, and I think it's better than you make sense. Call of Duty, and of course we're getting a lot of stuff that's first with us. So let's see. What does Microsoft have aside from Halo 5 coming out in December?
Well, they've got Halo, they got Forza, they've got that Gears remake, which they've got Fable, that Fable game.
You're throwing Fable out at me, really?
Well, I mean, we don't care about Fable, but other people do.
Do they? I don't think they do.
They keep making Fable games, Malcolm. Someone must care about them.
I think it's desperation, Joe.
I doubt it's that.
It's terrible desperation. It's like we need an exclusive. What's one we have? Fable. All right, let's throw it out there.
You know, they've got Tomb Raider, the Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's not insignificant, Malcolm.
I'll give them that. That'll probably, if it's not an exclusive for a year, they're fucking idiots. I'll just say that.
It'll be an exclusive for at least a year.
It better.
You're not going to play it on PS4 till 28, though.
What are you going to?
Or 27. You know.
Well, hopefully they announce something else like Quantum Break. I hope they announce more stuff about that soon.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say I was actually excited to see that this year until they're like, nope.
I think they're showing that at Game Time.
All right, there we go. That'll be a fun event, I think.
Yeah, like one of the other kind of announcements that they had during the show or whatever during the week after the conference, like another announcement is that I think they finally confirmed that they're doing Heavy Rain and what is it, Beyond Two Souls on PS4.
Yeah, they're doing like a bundle remastered, so that's pretty cool actually.
It's like, yay.
Yeah, your favorite game. I'm gonna get that for you for Christmas right there. There you go.
Ahead.
Happy
I
New
liked Beyond Two Souls.
No, you didn't. Don't lie. You hate
it. Heavy Rain is trash. That's a trash game for idiots.
So, folks, it's been a while since we've done a community question, but feel free to write into mailbag@thefirmup.com. Let us know who you think won E3. Was it me? Was it PlayStation 4 or PlayStation, like I say, or are you incorrect, like Joe? Write into. I'm just kidding. Are you saying Microsoft or Nintendo?
Oh, Microsoft.
Okay, let's not be completely crazy and say. Oh man, that Metroid Prime Hunter Federation Extreme. Oh. Whatever it was called. All right, so
I bet that game's gonna be perfectly fine, but it's like, man, of all the names to give it, you have to put Metroid in it.
Yeah, you shot it in the foot right off the bat. Oh man! All right, so quick lightning round. What else? What didn't we talk about this E3?
All right, there were a couple of things that kind of trickled out post conference or whatever on like Tuesday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Mirror's Edge Catalyst has asynchronous multiplayer features in the campaign, meaning that it basically just kind of there are things you can do in the world that kind of show up in other people as they play the story. It's not like straight up multiplayer. It's like, let's race down the freaking hallway or whatever the hell, one on one or whatever. It's like, it's like there are like leaderboards and stuff where it's like, oh, my friend got through this level at this speed or whatever. Let's see how fast I can. That type of thing.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that seems like it'd be a cool thing.
Yeah, I think so too. What else got announced?
Let's see. Also out of EA, I think IGN or Game Informer asked them about what people assumed would be happening, the Mass Effect trilogy being remastered for the new consoles, but I forget who at EA. Patrick Soderlund said no, they'd rather just focus on new projects rather than remastering something else.
That kind of surprised me because you think that'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean the only thing is that the way he put it was a little strange. It was like he said, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go back and play a game, you want the memory of what they were at that point in time when you played them. That if I go back and play the old games, I think, really? Was this what it was? Because in my mind, it was amazing. It's like,
yeah, that sort of gives a connotation that he thought Mass Effect actually kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's like that. Like that logic makes more sense if you're talking about like remastering NES games or whatever. Because hey, here's a shocker: 80% of the NES games you like are actually kind of bad. But with something like Mass Effect, that came out like a few years ago. It's like let's take it down a notch.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's not like gameplay systems that have evolved so much in the 8 years since the original Mass Effect or whatever.
Yeah, like you might as well just let's treat the original Mass Effect like an ex-girlfriend. just live with the memories instead of seeing it. What the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, it's a weird thing to put it. But otherwise, I agree with his logic. It's like, yeah, I'd rather see them investing those resources on new things.
Yeah. I mean, if enough people, badger them about it, I'm sure they'll do something. But
right,
whatever. Okay. All right. So I already have all three on PS3 anyway. So
you should play those sometime.
I should. All right. All right. So what else happened this week?
Let's see. Marty O'Donnell, the revered composer on the Halo games and briefly on Destiny,
Marty.
he's founded a new studio with other Bungie veterans called Highwire Games, and apparently they want to create unique emotional experiences for players. Yeah, that's cool. basically him and a couple of other people that worked on Halo with him over the last decade or so. I guess they're making games at a different studio now. I don't know if those will be. I assume those will be multi-platform games. We'll see.
All right, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially because weirdly he got fired from Bungie or something. Like there was a weird termination in his employment, which was strange because he was kind of synonymous with Halo's music. Like he was a very big part of Halo being what it was.
He was doing something that rhymes with shimbezel. No, I'm just.
I think he would go to jail for that.
He probably would, but he made really good music, Joe. You can't put a plug on that. Was that Little Mermaid or
no?
Okay.
Anyway,
what else happened?
Let's see. Square Enix announced that they formed a new studio called
the Final Fantasy Club.
The Final Fantasy VII remake. No. Like we'd like this game to come out this decade, so we're making a new studio just for that. No. Tokyo RPG Factory, which is very
Square Enix.
I know, it's like okay, seems like a synonym for Square Enix.
Yeah,
but that's what the studio's called. And yeah, so easy joke aside, they're working on something called Project Setsuna, which is due in 2016. I assume that's a code name, but that's pretty much all the information that exists on the studio or that game. That's right.
Very nice. Oh, in related news, Naughty Dog is releasing a new studio called Awesome Third Person Shooter, so that's going to be great.
Jungle Man.
Indeed. Jungle Man. All right, what else happened?
Let's see. Ubisoft apparently, I guess they remember the Division.
Yeah, I recall the
Division of Tom Clancy fame.
Mm-hmm. Clancy.
One of the big things or one of the big features that that was touted was that you could go on your tablet or whatever. If your friends were in trouble playing the game and even if you were away from the game but you had your tablet handy, you could go jump into the app and like launch drones or whatever to help your friends or grief your friends, whatever you want. It was a cool feature. A lot of people that were excited for the game were excited about that particular feature. But don't be excited for it anymore because they canceled that part. They canceled the app. It will not have a mobile companion app after all. Massive Entertainment, the developer for the game, told IGN that they cut the companion app because it created an imbalance that compromised the gameplay. So for all the cool ideas they had, it's like, well, maybe it's better on paper than the next.
So do you think should I be concerned about this game, Joe?
I don't know, Malcolm.
Oh boy, I want to be excited about this one. I wanted to be excited for E3. Oh well. We'll see how the game is. I mean, it still kind of looks good on paper, but friends stabbing me in the back aside,
yeah.
Oh Lord. All right. So what else happened?
Actually, speaking of Disney characters in figurine-based video games, remember how how Disney or Star Wars does pretty well for things like Legos, right?
Yeah, it does pretty well. Well, Star Wars does pretty well for itself with everything, but yeah.
I know, but Lego Star Wars is a very popular thing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And of course, Lego's doing their figure-based game this fall, Lego Dimensions.
Yep, that looks pretty cool.
Well, don't expect Star Wars to come to that.
Oh.
For a very obvious reason. It was pretty cut and dry. Disney Vice President of Production, John Vignacci, told IGN in an interview at E3 2015, "Don't count on it." When asked if Star Wars will ever come to Lego Dimensions, he explained that introducing Star Wars to Lego Dimensions would cannibalize the Disney Infinity business, which would of course be good for everyone except Disney. So.
Yeah, which is a shame because the more I see about Lego Dimensions, the more I'm actually interested in it.
Yeah, like they've got pretty much all the franchises that they've kind of partnered with in the past on just toys. They're kind of just jumping on the Lego Dimensions bandwagon as well, like The Simpsons, Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, Portal, Jurassic World.
Did you see the Portal trailer that they released?
I did not.
Oh, it's very cool. Like I showed it to my wife. Like Portal is it's like one of her favorite franchises right now in video games, and she was excited. And she's like, wait a minute. So in order to play the next Portal game, I need to buy this. I'm like, well, this isn't the next Portal game, honey. This is it's just based on Portal. But I have to tell you, that Lego GLaDOS looked fantastic. But yeah, that might be one I take a look at, especially if I'm like building everything. That might be pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right. What else happened? What else happened, buddy?
Got a couple of news items out of Activision as well. Tony Hawk going on Twitter doing his thing the way he does, where I don't think there's even a PR person assigned to Tony Hawk games anymore. I think it's as Tony Hawk leaking news as he sees fit. He's like, they're my games, damn it. I'll do what I want. And he announced on Twitter that the release date for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is September 29th on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and later this year for PS3 and 360.
You must be stoked.
I am pretty stoked. Although that game, the game looks fun gameplay-wise. That game looks a little janky, though, visually speaking. It's like, well, this looks a little PS3-ish.
I think I heard, that's what Nick Scarpino said, that it came straight off the PS2. It's, that's not good.
But I mean, then again, like, those games never had to be, like, super graphically amazing to be fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, because that's true. I mean, that's the old Nintendo adage. It's not how it looks, it's how it plays. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. What else happened this week?
Let's see. Activision also revealed Transformers Devastation coming from none other than Platinum Games. Platinum Games working on Transformers Devastation.
And it looks just like in the cartoon.
Yeah, it's like a cel-shaded, like, kind of a brawler. You don't get to play as the Decepticons like you have in the last few games that have been put out for
fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Go beat them up as Optimus Prime. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Exactly. And here's the thing. I think you only play as Optimus Prime, right?
No, I think you can play as a couple of different... You can choose from Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Wheeljack, and Grimlock. According to the PlayStation blog post reads, pick the Autobot you like best and roll out.
Very cool. Yeah, like I saw Bumblebee, and great news for me. My favorite is in there. Can you guess my favorite, Joe?
Sideswipe.
No, and fuck you.
Wheeljack.
You're just reading names off, aren't you? My favorite is Grimlock. And you know how much of it my favorite he is, Joe? A friend of mine, who unfortunately doesn't speak to me anymore, but she actually not only drew this incredible picture of Grimlock, but she actually got the now deceased voice actor to sign it. So it's hanging I'll send you a picture after the show. It's hanging in a place of honor in my office, and it's one of my favorite positions. It's just a shame she's a jerk, but anyway. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So alrighty, what else happened?
So you got a couple of random game announcements here as well. Kerbal Space Program, which has done very well on PC. People really like that game. It's coming to PlayStation 4 at some point in the future. Kerbal Space Program is kind of like a space exploration game where you kind of just try to build a spaceship to launch these cute little dudes into space, and hopefully, not having them blow up on your spacecraft or whatever.
Sounds like real life in this. You're just throwing shit up in the air, seeing if it doesn't fall to its death.
Basically, yeah. But that game is done pretty well on PC, like I said, and that's coming to PS4. That's pretty neat. There is no date as far as I can see, or a window even for its release. But
that's not good.
But either way.
Well, whatever. It's coming.
Yeah.
All right. What else got announced?
You've got something called Calvino Noir coming to PlayStation 4 as well.
Right.
Calvino Noir is a film noir stealth adventure coming to PlayStation 4. I like film noir. That's neat. Apparently, it's let's see. According to this PlayStation blog post written by the game's director, Dan Walters, it says that the beautiful history of noir cinema is a big inspiration. That's where we've drawn ideas for the look and story of the game. Classic film noir plot and characters are there, but in our own format, which is more closely inspired by films such as Blade Runner and games such as Deus Ex. So those are all things that are cool and enjoyable. So yeah, I'll check that out.
Alrighty, I'll check that out too. All right, what else got announced?
I don't remember if we talked about it or not, but I think on Tuesday or Monday night after the press conference, Sony released the media player for PlayStation 4, allowing you to put a flash drive into your PlayStation 4, plugging it in there and playing things like music and videos and what have you.
Yeah, it just suddenly appeared on my PS4. It was
yeah,
the hell is this?
Yeah, and a wide variety of formats are supported for video and photos and whatnot, and music as well. So, not a wide variety for music, but basically just MP3s and AAC files. But they have a full list of what's supported on the PlayStation blog. So the only thing is that you can't copy that onto your hard drive. You have to have the thumb drive or whatever plugged into your PS4 every time you want to use it. That's kind of a bummer. Otherwise,
a little bit of a bummer. Yeah.
Otherwise, cool.
Okay. All right. What else happened this week?
Let's see here. Lastly, I guess is that not a whole lot of things dropped on the PlayStation Store this week, just because who would play games this week, or who would play something that comes out this week? Really, there'd be zero attention on it. The things that did come out were Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition on PlayStation 4, and what was it called? It's called Arcade Archives Nova 2001. Those are literally the only two things that came out. But besides that, they're running a Best of E3 sale, which is a big sale on hit games from past E3 shows, and that runs through June 22nd, this Monday, basically. So you can get things like Alien Isolation, Batman Arkham City, Asylum, Origins, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4, let's see here, DMC on PS3, GTA 5, even though I don't remember that ever being at an E3 show. You can get Mirror's Edge on PS3 for $5 if you're on PlayStation Plus. So if you saw Mirror's Edge Catalyst and were wondering why everyone's so damn excited, go ahead and just break a $5. Grab that. Let's see, Rock Band Blitz for $5 as well, or less than $5. South Park: A Stick of Truth for $10. Just check out the PlayStation blog or the PlayStation Store to see what's what, because there's some good stuff in there if you missed out on any of these games.
Yeah, I checked it out earlier in the week, and I don't think I had anything else after I bought Sleeping Dogs, the definitive edition, on the last sale that we got. But it's got like plenty of really good sales here, as Joe mentioned earlier, so definitely go check it out. Yeah. Alrighty, Joe. And you said that's it?
That's all I got.
Alrighty. Just one last tip for people. Stay away from those Batman Arkham Knight reviews.
They just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they just came up, and unfortunately, I got spoiled. I mean, I
Which one did you read?
The IGN one.
See, that's why I don't read IGN very regularly.
I mean, it wasn't a story, just a voice actor. But anyway, folks, that does it for this week's episode of the Firmware Update, our action-packed E3 edition. Oh, I love these E3 shows, Joe. And we had probably the best E3 that we've ever covered.
Yeah, like overall, I think, like even though Sony's had better shows, I think overall E3 was pretty much good for everybody, which is not always the case.
Indeed. So yeah, everyone did a fantastic job. Like, I left considering a Xbox One for the first time really in a long time. I left proud about having a PS4, and I left proud that I didn't actually spend money on my Wii U. So it all worked out. No, I'm just
Hang on a second before we sign off. Let's review RK's predictions real fast. See how he did. I've got the email already open here. His first prediction being the Shenmue HD collection. Close but no cigar, huh? Don't you feel stupid?
Just the fact that Shenmue was even in there.
Let's see. The second one was that the Division will have a graphical downgrade when shown on stage. That game still looked really good, so I don't think that came to fruition for him.
Okay.
3, Microsoft will try to act like they've been all about the gamers since day one and try to pretend the TV and Kinect debacle never happened. I'd say that's half right.
I would say that's completely true. I'll give him the point on that one.
Especially on the Kinect part. They didn't mention Kinect a single time that show.
No, that's dead. It's
Oh, man. Let's see. And then, like, they even showed that, remember, like, Just Dance, like, you think you could just use your phone. I was like, oh, okay. Kinect will reveal their own virtual reality headset. I think that was a sarcastic one. But
okay.
The new Star Ocean will finally show some footage and be PS4 exclusive. They did show footage. Was that PS4 exclusive?
I think it was, actually. I'm going to have to check. Hold on. Gosh.
Okay, well, while you check, his last one was that Sony will devote stage time to play Persona 5 live and or play Persona music with a live band, which sadly they did not. See, now that would have made it.
That would have. Is this Star Ocean 5? Or
basically, yeah.
Explains why Star Ocean 5 will not come to Xbox One. Yep, it's an exclusive.
All right, there you go. So pretty good job there, RK.
I think he did better than us.
He did. I don't know where I wrote down my predictions, but I don't think I did as well as that.
No, I would have to say no. Let me just check really quick once my slow freaking phone. Come on, man. We are live. Okay, here we go. These are Money in the Bank predictions. The heck? All right. So, needless to say, congratulations to RK there, who soundly defeated us. Yeah, they're gone.
It's real nice.
All right, we'll have to write these down, or maybe RK can go back and listen. Who knows? All right, folks, this has been episode 150 of the Firmware Update. Thank you so much for listening. I hope we were able to get you through E3.
What a final show!
It was.
What a great final show for us.
It's a great way to head out. We're not going to. Folks, if you like what you heard, you can go to your iTunes on your Apple device and find us. Hit that subscribe button in the settings, and you'll get every single episode downloaded automatically. Or if you have an Android, never fear. You can download the Stitcher Radio app and you can stream us every week. Or if you would rather download, I would recommend that you go out and purchase an app called Pocket Cast. It's $4, but you'll be able to download as well as stream. On top of that, you can find us as well on our own site, thefirmup.com, where we'll post every single episode, so go check that out. You can also find us on Twitter at PS Malk for me, at Wands23 for Joe, and at the Firm Up for the show. We are also on YouTube, so if you want to just play us in the background or something, or just listen to us on the YouTube app on your PS4, you can do it like that too. And Joe, is there anything else I'm forgetting?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for making the time, folks. We will see you next week.
Please be excited.
Please excited. And don't listen to those Arkham Knight views. God.